So we're
What
starting
are you
off
streaming?
with this.
Why are we starting off with this?
Oh God, no.
Of course.
Oh
So,
god.
you can see down the bottom. Here are the UK's most mispronounced place names. You have this place in Cheshire. British and
Chlamydia?
European people. Shut the fuck up. Anyone who was confident, I would say the person who called it Edinburgh and Manchester, could be a premier. Please feel free to tell me what this is, how you pronounce this town name.
Cholmondeley.
Okay. Anyone
No,
else?
this will be something completely crazy like Chomley or something like that. Something completely wrong.
I believe you're a
Cholmondeley.
European, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you shush.
Cholmondeley is how it's incorrectly pronounced. Many people try to pronounce the civil parish of Cheshire as Cholmondeley. However, this is incorrect.
It is actually pronounced.
Fuck if I know.
Okay, well, it is actually pronounced Chumley.
Chumley? You're stupid. British are stupid.
What is this? Was this French?
Here's the next one.
It looks like Bicester, but that's even.
It's in Oxfordshire.
Bicester?
Yeah, there's no CH, so I would say it was Kester.
Well,
it could also
there's
be
more...
Cester.
Well, if you look at the one above it, there's more letters than Chumley.
There is, yes.
I'm still gonna go with Bicester because
Bicester.
I would not. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to actually pronounce it.
I noticed that Perto's being very quiet.
Yeah, I don't care, man. I'm getting ready to say the last time on.
You pronounce this one Bister.
Oh, it's just Bister.
Oh,
so the
from.
C is silent.
Can we get on Pirates?
There's the next one down there in Somerset.
Oh, From. I love that gaming company.
Or show.
From Somerset. Yeah.
I don't know. The show's losing my interest.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry.
So this one you might think would be called From. Or From. It's not. It's actually pronounced.
I bet it's something French.
Froome.
I'm gonna blame the French.
We do that all the time here.
I was just happy to make my FromSoft joke.
I feel like you guys like this one is God Manchester.
Oh, look, it's Manchester's
actually...
bigger brother. It's God Manchester.
God Manchester.
God Manchester.
So this one.
Omega.
Omega.
That looks less like a
Alpha
name.
And Omega.
It looks less like a name, and someone, while they were asked, "Hey, can you name this country?" got punched in the fucking gut.
So this one is Omar.
Omar.
Oh, I should have realized that. It's just Northern Ireland right
we
there.
ain't got no more pigs to slaughter, so we're gonna have to have something other than bacon.
God, Wales?
Look, at least you got the English spelling there.
Yeah.
That is not English.
Do you want to see the Welsh spelling?
That is not English.
Ishmimber? How do you pronounce that?
it
is Istanbul.
Anisbul.
Anisbul, sorry, not
Wait,
Istanbul,
that's
sorry.
the English spelling?
Yep.
Wow.
What's the Welsh spelling? I need to see this.
Search at your own risk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sheepy, show us.
Oh God.
No, wait, I got a bullshit thing to say for the next one.
Oh, okay.
Is it corny?
No. Queer no more.
It's Korma.
Plumber.
Yeah. No, it's actually queer no more.
I don't think I've... I almost called it Lancastershire. I don't know why. I just added a bunch of extra syllables to that.
I think it's because of Worcester sauce. Everyone is like Worcestershire.
That is just a
Worcestershire sauce.
That next one's just a sentence smushed together.
Wolfard is worthy.
Wolfard is woody.
It's actually Wolsey.
Oh, so he just ignored the
You
entire
guys were
fard
drunk
in
when
the
you
middle.
named your towns.
Balachulish?
Oh, it says right there. It's Balahoosh.
Yeah, Balahoosh.
Balahoosh.
Bow Chief, obviously. Obviously pronounced Bow Chief. No, it's Beechif.
That sounds like a Pokemon.
There you go. That's the fun that can be had with British town names, and there's a whole load more, to be honest.
At least we didn't get onto the rude ones.
Oh, that's the wrong thing there.
Yeah, all it's showing me is British people don't know how to spell, just like me.
Well, I mean, to be fair, any way we do it is right because we created the fucking language. So
No.
yeah, that's.
Why is it English? It ain't
We
called
speak American here.
They had to specify U.S. English.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
Right.
Y'all are the British, not the English.
I mean,
not entirely true.
Yeah,
British?
we're not going to get into this. So they are the British are, as it has been explained to me, I could get this wrong. The British are the Scottish and the English and the Welsh.
Yes.
And the English are the bastards who were the guys who took over Scotland and Wales and
Not
Ireland.
Technically true.
We took
really?
over Wales. I think Scotland married in.
Yeah, I think James the Second or James the First or whoever he was actually a Scottish king. No,
it was James the First of England who was James the Sixth of Scotland. So it was essentially a union. Yeah. There you go.
All I know is British people don't know how to spell.
Okay.
And neither do I.
Should we talk about aluminum?
Yeah.
Aluminium?
It's a metal.
Oh, you mean aluminium?
Don't start using our words.
What do you mean, Sheepy? You're the one who said it wrong.
You can't use that word. That's our word.
Yeah, the Americans are the ones who say aluminum.
No, we say aluminium.
No, we say aluminum.
No, British people, English people say aluminium.
Yeah, that's what I said. Aluminium.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah.
Americans say that, and you guys say aluminum. I don't know why you're trying to steal our words.
All right. Screw you guys.
No thanks.
Come and fuck me yourself, you coward.
That's mad. Okay.
Sorry.
So
I just think all of this was recorded for prosperity.
Yeah, it was.
God dang it.
So everyone will know. Everyone will know British people cannot spell.
Well, I mean, that's true. Or, technically speaking, Americans can't spell because you leave the U out of basically everything.
Yeah.
But hey, who's judging?
Well, we didn't want to have to pay for it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I heard Sesame Street charges an arm and a leg for spelling.
Yep.
For smelling?
Spelling. God damn, let's not worry about spelling. You guys can't fucking hear.
Let's feel the gunshots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day I go to work and I shoot off the celebratory M60.
Did you? What did you say would get to us, Dampen?
The tinnitus.
Tinnitus? I don't speak fancy.
So we are
I-
currently looking at the lovely, lovely world of Thea, and also the Etabean Sea, and also Cape Capybara, which I believe is what the name of the island currently is.
Cape Capybara or La Porta Nos Costa.
It's been
Yes.
changed so many times. I don't care.
No, Cape Capybara is this little bullshit that's right here that is apparently a cape.
I believe it's pointing at the entire island.
I think it's supposed to, yes. The funny part of it is it doesn't look like a capybara as much as it looks like a tapir, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if
Who
you can make
circled it
Tepe
in
sound good
green?
in the name,
There we go.
I color in orange.
I color in yellow.
in that
So,
case, I'm going to guess bearded.
What are you talking about? That's not my color.
shall we run through a bit of a recap?
I volunteer.
Okay.
I definitely know
I
I need
volunteer
one.
Proto.
Right, boss. Last time on whatever the fuck the name of this game is, a bunch of gits went to
I can't say the name in that, but
Oh, where did they
a
go?
bunch of gits went to the Veston area to pick up.
man, I can't do it real well without hurting my throat, so I'm
That's
not
alright,
going
you
full
just-
in. I'm sorry.
just go
I'm
with it.
sorry, y'all.
I
You
appreciate
went to
the effort.
Veston to pick
We went
up-
to the Veston port to they did some shopping. I picked up a contract.
Yeah.
I
Borden,
did the sex.
you definitely slept with someone, and that's as far as we went with it.
Yes.
Bowden picked up a seer.
Yep.
The Dawn sent out some money to his family, and visited a church.
Yeah.
The assassin picked up some poisonous items.
Definitely not poisonous.
Remind me, was it
More medicinal.
seeds or herbs or plants? I can't remember which
Plants.
plants. Okay.
The specific one was nightshade,
Yes.
which very much medicinal.
Yes. Good for sleeping.
Big sleep.
Great painkiller as well.
As I remember, you got a job up towards the
Monte. The French.
the French Montaigne, yeah.
Yeah, the Montaigne.
Because you had word of a you had word of a convoy or a small transport with possible escorts traveling down towards the Veston big port and past there back home with
No, we already attacked that ship.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't we
Oh,
already
okay.
hit the?
Yeah, no, we're traveling to the Montaigne because it is one of the few ports we haven't visited yet. So we have contacts in this place, this place, this place, this place, and we need contacts here, here, and here.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So yes, you are traveling, and there was what was it? There are a couple of things that were built. I can't remember what they were now.
Basement.
Yes,
For
the
storage.
the food storage cellar, call it.
Mm-hmm.
And you now have two ships.
Yep.
The Lucky Lucine and a sloop.
Yep. We haven't named it yet.
Haven't named it yet.
I
Uh,
think I also finished my smokehouse last time.
You did.
Yes. Mm. It can also be noted that the sloop is specifically a sloop of war. It's not just a sloop. So it's a little slower, but it has more guns. But it requires less crew to run as well. Okay, so wood reserves are decent. You've got combat's worth of powder spare. You got some common and specialist items if you want to start digging those up and doing specific things with them. We can probably say at this point that the oven ripped from the ship is part of the cookhouse.
Yes, but that specifically still has a chunk of the ship on it.
Yes. Fair amount of rum. Okay, that's pretty good. You got your council going. Yes. I'd say. Where did we finish last time? Was it with you heading up to the French port?
Yeah. So Bowden was able to. I don't know who else got dropped off at the island, but because we were on our way up to the Monty and the French, we dropped off anybody who wanted to be dropped off on the island, and we are going to continue up to. I need to bring. If I see the word, I can say it. The Montaigne.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. In that case, why don't we touch in with the island first, and then everyone can decide, because you're kind of going past it, your plans may have changed, or your preferences may have changed. We'll touch on who's going with the flotilla. It's not really a flotilla, but you know what I mean. Who's going up to the Montaigne port, and who's staying on the island.
So the sloop was left at the island where you only have the Lucky Lucine with us.
Taking the Lucine up, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the bringing a very previously recently French ship into a French port could be a
It was a Vodachi ship.
It was no, it was Vodacci. It was the Italian.
Yeah, you're right. It was apologies. Was it from the Bellini?
It was. Where did I write that?
We have it written down somewhere. Is it at the bottom? Yeah, it was one of the lower. I believe.
Yeah, I think we stole from the Bellini. No, did we steal from the Cellini?
I think
We stole.
I think we stole from the Cellini because the Bellini were lower than them, so we helped them.
I'm pretty sure it was the Cellini, because the reason the job came to you is because the Cellini are a little bit more well off and influential than the Bellini. The Bellini are more up and comers.
Yeah, we were stealing from the one that wanted to hurt the other one because they needed to because they were lower. So
yeah, and given the current situation, you don't have anything negative with the Cellini because they're not aware that it was who exactly did it. They would write it off as generic piracy or bad weather or whatever. So it's possible that in the future that could come out, but currently it has not. So you do have a positive relationship with the Bellini, however, so going forward that's something you can keep in mind. Yeah. So who is looking to who is looking to stay with the island, as it were?
What is the
No.
task of the ship? What are we trying to achieve in the French colonies? Montaigne.
We are looking to gain more contacts, but the contract we picked up was a time-sensitive delivery to the colony, to the Montaigne colony.
I think I'm gonna stay on the island.
Essentially, it is more a mixture of scouting and initiating contact with possible beneficial relationships, like forming possible beneficial relationships. There's no like strong goal aside from, hey, if we go and run this contract to the Montaigne, we can kind of cover our expenses and make the trip worthwhile.
Bowden is going to be on the island.
Okay.
So will Lockbox.
Is any I believe Don Fernando, you were in charge of the sloop.
Yeah, when we captured it, yes.
Yes. And then who was it Mr. Gilligan who was captaining the Lucine up to the Montaigne?
Yeah,
Mr. Stel- Oh.
I'm in charge of the trade.
Okay. Wait, are you in charge of the trade? Who's captaining it?
I am.
Okay.
Nobody else volunteered to captain the ship, so I'm having to pull double duty.
All right. Cool. In that case, as we proceed, if any of you do decide to put together a crew in the sloop, as yet unnamed, please feel free to let me know if there's anything you particularly want to do with it. But
If anything, I would probably just wait. If there is any sailing ship, we could just gang and try to rob them blind.
all right.
Nothing particular.
Yeah. Okay. For that, just seeing what you have. You have eagle eyes. Would you be looking out yourself, or would it be more relying on others to keep watch?
It's a good chance. Like, I am unlikely to literally climb in the crow's nest because bellowing any sort of orders is unlikely. But I will definitely be like walking on the deck and peering everywhere with a spyglass.
Okay. So you're not just waiting to see if one is seen near the island. You're taking out the sloop occasionally to have a looky-loo?
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm kind of trying to like camp some of the like likely passageways.
Right, okay. In that case, could I please have a wits and sailing?
1 sec, please. No penalty, no benefit, presumably.
Bear +1 dice for eagle eyes. Oh, sorry, no, that's not right. +1 dice for, I'd say, officer in training would definitely help you there. And plus another dice for the sense of direction, just staying on course where you want to be.
Going to the French, you have
Oh,
+1 panache. Or however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
That was kind of bad.
You do have 3 in sailing, so I believe does that mean you can re-roll 1 dice?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to re-roll a 1. I mean, if you want to, you can re-roll the 10. I wouldn't advise it.
I mean, yeah, you can get rid of one of the critical failures.
Okay. So that would be 39.
Yep.
Not bad. And then please also roll me a wits and notice. You'll get a bonus dice for eagle eyes. I think that's the only one that will give you a bonus.
Not
33.
bad.
Yeah, for
Right.
notice, I don't have three level.
Yeah. All right. Let me just check my notes. Okay. So you do sight a ship. You recognize the flag flown before you get too close, and as a note, this is before you, kind of hove into a more, let's say, attacking or pursuit kind of thing. As you see the ship and as you get a little bit closer and see the flag, you're not going towards it, so it doesn't look like you're chasing it down or anything. The ship you spot is a Castilian ship. It is heading into the Atabian Sea from the east and appears at, as far as you can tell, what do you get? 33? 33 is not bad. It appears, as far as you can tell, to have an increased presence, more than you'd expect on a ship of this kind of size. It seems to be it seems to be a frigate. So quite a big one, quite a lot of guns, and it appears to have a lot more people than you would expect. I would say, unless you decide to go closer, you won't be able to pick up the details. But the specific details of like how many people and what exactly they look like, you definitely see a lot of small arms. We're talking like muskets, black powder weapons, etc. Among the people you see on the ship.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I see it correctly, yeah, that's a big warship. I don't want that kind of smoke, so to speak. So we are absolutely not attacking that or even sailing aggressively. The question is if we will be shadowing them to try and figure out where are they going, or if we just leave.
So running into this would be either it would be virtually impossible to make it seem like you are heading in a similar direction, but not to the fort or port of the Castilians. So it would be difficult to follow them or shadow them and remain in like sight of them, but also not be super suspicious if you break off or go in a different direction.
Okay, if I break off now, is it like what is the likelihood that they will figure out that our little pirate island is actually settled by people?
You're
Can
far.
can I break off contact without them guessing that there is someone around?
Yeah, no. At this point, if you consider that you're moving from the island probably in like a southeasterly direction, you could be coming from any number of the ports up to the north and heading down towards the Western port in the southeast. Actually, you know what? Just for a little bit extra, with your sailing abilities and your command of the crew, give me a panache, which I believe you get a bonus to, and sailing, please.
You can take a +1 to it, or you can wait.
Yes.
Did I also eat the panache? Isn't it only for the mountain crew? But I mean, I will take it.
It's for everyone. The way I
Yeah.
had said it was specifically for.
So panache sailing. Do I hear it correctly?
Yes.
Yes.
And you get a bonus for officer in training and a bonus for your ship captain, naval officer combination.
So that's altogether it's bonus 2 if I read it correctly.
2 or 3 if you take the panache bonus.
Yeah, I
from
will take the food bonus.
Okay. Okay. I was unsure if I was gonna give this to you, but given that
You can
roll,
re-roll the one.
you can
I mean, you
also
can.
yeah, you can re-roll the one as well. You got three
See if you
initiative.
get another 10.
I mean, you may as well save the re-roll, but
Wow. I
oh
mean,
no!
yeah,
Oh,
that'll do it. So that is 62.
62.
62.
All right. What I was going to say is you might be able to carry on your course, but just let your ship drift a bit. So it's not obvious that you're trying to get closer. It won't look like you're tacking or trying to, you can just kind of like, just subtly, slowly kind of drift into a vector whereby you pass a bit closer than you may have done if you maintain your course while not being suspicious about it.
So we will pretend to be shoddy crew that is also understaffed because
Yeah.
we are actually merchantmen who tries to cut costs. I see.
Yeah. And I would say with those roles and your command of the ship, absolutely, definitely, you're able to do this, which allows you to get a little bit closer to the Castilian frigate, and it allows you to see that what the ship appears to be, it's actually kind of beneficial that you're the one out leading this, because, Castilian. It appears to be a detachment of soldiers that are being transported off towards either the fort or the port, which means they're bringing in an influx of soldiers, or a detachment of soldiers from the.
So you think it's actually not just the ship's crew, but it's actually like troop transport in some way. It's also a warship, but also a troop transport.
It's also a warship, but most likely the purpose is transporting. I'd say probably about 50 or so troops.
Well, I was hoping to find some actual like easier to sell valuables, but this is information. Yeah, we will just break contact and go home.
Yeah. You kind of carry on for a while until they disappear off the horizon. You disappear off their horizon, and then casually bark out the orders to adjust course and head back up. See if you can spot any other ships in the area. I would say, as things are currently running. You probably sight in the distance a couple of Eisen and Vesten, not even sloops really. I'd say closer to caravels, but a bit smaller. We're talking like coastal passenger transport. They're not going to be transporting anything much of anything. It would be more like little pleasure ships, little sail ships, etc. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, I see. Let's call it yachts.
Yeah. Most likely they are either exploring the islands or they are just transporting up and down the coastline to little, little outposts or little, but not even outposts, just like
Farming estates and so that
yeah.
sort of.
Perfectly welcome to give them a little bit of a drop-in, but based on their size, they won't have any cannon. I would say. Sorry, there's something keeps on falling over in the background. I would say it's not something you would necessarily want to act on right now, but it is of interest because if you wanted, you might be able to kind of like force them to anchor up and surrender, which could allow you to quickly jump on the ships and take hostages. Not something you'd necessarily want to do, but also could be useful. You might be able, depending on what exactly your goal is or anything, you might.
Apparently, the goal is to make money.
Yes, and therefore it would be remiss of me not to mention that probably a couple of the lads on the ship as well, maybe even voice it, basically saying like, what if there's a rich noblewoman or landowner, in one of those ships, like we take it, we take them, blindfold them, take them back to the island, and then we can ransom them off for some money or bit of influence or whatever.
Is there any of the senior crew member with me to discuss the idea? Because I'm kind of like, as a player, I am kind of not wanting to attract attention for what I think will be relatively limited payoff, but
Um,
I still think robbing some small farm might be of use, or just taking prisoners from a ship. Like wait for them to actually set sail and leave most of their ship. Maybe we can actually just steal their ship while they are gone.
well, I would say, given for a start, there aren't any other of the council or any other influential sailors with you. You mostly took like a pretty low, call it skeleton crew, through with you.
And if by senior sailors you meant PCs, unless you asked Lockbox, he would not go, but he would send a sous chef with you.
Yeah. Essentially, what I would say is, and we can jump into Don Fernando's thinking specifically. Generally speaking, hostage taking is a time-honored tradition among the nobility for whereby you take in a battle, if you defeat the the leaders or whatever. Generally speaking, you take them hostage, you sell them back on an honor system. You are pirates now. I think all of you have pretty much come to terms with that. I think partially it would depend on how much Don Fernando has shifted away from an officer and a gentleman.
I still think, like for a gentleman, like for this hostage training, we should be in state of war. No, we can't just like steal a person from the street to ransom them.
Generally speaking, I imagine, and it will be down to you and your character as well, but I imagine that you'd look on that as a little bit beneath you. Something you'd expect someone like Brooks to do.
Yeah, it also kind of, and yeah, I also think I think the character would be willing to steal a ship or steal whatever like luxury goods a potential farm would be producing.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would be willing to steal a person, like kidnap them.
I would say, at best, you'd be okay with taking a military commander captive.
One part of me wants to say I would be willing to steal slaves, but not a person of a like noble upbringing.
Generally speaking. But yeah, like, so if you had some governor or captain or admiral or something who was on a pleasure cruise or just visiting some of their property, and you saw the opportunity, I don't think Don Fernando would have too much of a problem with capturing them and using them as leverage.
All right. Let's go for it. Let's see what we can cause
Well,
here.
What I would say is, currently speaking, you don't really have aside from monetary gain, of which you've made some decent monetary gain recently, you don't have a pressing need to do it now. But it could be a very good piece of information to have.
Yeah, exactly. Can we mark some location of potential farms? Where do we expect the ship to come from? Or even literally follow them? Where will they set anchor? If they do. But if not, I'm also still willing to just return.
So if you see from the Eisen port up to the Western port, where it has the Mariana Jaguar.
Yes.
All up along that coast, you see multiple small ships, kind of moving up and down.
Okay, so it's like relatively frequented place.
Yes, it appears that both the Eisen and Veston people, pretty much, have maybe they've come to some sort of agreement. Maybe they're going to come to some sort of disagreement because they're both starting to populate this large island here. But they have started to set up along the coastline. It looks like there are some plantations, farms, etc., starting to pop up and down there, and travel between both ports and to the land claimed is becoming more frequent since last you were in the area, and from what you're observing now.
Okay, still, what is the chance we could steal a ship when it like drops anchor and presumably takes or removes passengers? Although maybe the ports will be at least somewhat, if not guarded, and at least like populated. So
Let me ask a counter question. Do we have enough people for another ship?
You probably, depending, like, these ships are pretty small. They are small transport ships, carrying a small amount of stuff to or from, more specifically, probably people. Again, you don't get that close, so. But I would say, you could definitely take one of those ships. It wouldn't require too many. You could probably crew them with like 5 people, like, effectively.
yeah, I assume it's a bigger boat, really. Well, it's more than that, but yeah.
If you look at the sloop, it's kind of the shape of a caravel and like half the size of the sloop. So it's the type of ship that only has the deck and then maybe like a little storage hatch which opens up, and you can pretty much see the keel underneath. Like, there's no underneath floor or anything like that.
And so the mood of the crew is we can take him. We should maybe try it. I would say, okay, this is subject to decision of the Pirate Council. We're heading home for now.
But you have at the very least a few nice snippets of information.
Yeah, I
from
believe these
traveling
certainly
around.
are things that maybe we can sell the idea of Castilian armament, rearmament, if we want to start up some war between the two factions.
Fortification as well, but you could definitely sell it as like a invasion force or
Yeah,
something a
but
bit worrying.
extraordinary. Like if we tell them either Vodachi or Montaigne or even our previous employers that yeah, the Castilians want to up the military power here, maybe you could hire mercenaries for temporarily. And hey, we are currently here.
Yeah, the Avalonians would definitely, it could incite more tensions, definitely, because they've literally, a few weeks ago signed a truce, maybe a month ago. So,
Yeah, this is subject to the Pirates Council.
all right. As you are off and about and heading back in, the rest of everyone at the island, do you have anything specific projects you'd like to do? Anything you'd like to run?
Just to be sure, would we be still going up to drop off the things?
Yes, if you're
Okay.
if you're staying with the ship, the Lucine, you'll be heading up to the Montaigne port
Okay,
to
cool.
deliver the goods.
Just wanted to make sure.
I believe pretty much everyone was staying behind at the island except for maybe Mr. Gilligan and now possibly Brooks.
Brooks is bored.
Fair enough.
I know it's a terrible thing.
Yeah. You drop off your plants and put "do not talk" because you forget the U in touch, and head off.
Look, if someone tries to eat them, it's their own fault.
That's true. So
Fox sees them, goes, noted.
You know, I might actually just go and tell a couple of people, right, see those? Don't eat them.
That would leave Lockbox and Bowden on the island.
I think I'm just gonna re-up our wood reserves.
I was actually gonna do the same.
Oh, okay.
Odin,
What's up?
remember you have a seer.
Yeah, I was gonna stay at the island, and I don't exactly. This is the player bearded coming in. I don't know what a seer requires. So if they ask something of me, I'll probably do it, but I don't really know anything about the culture.
We don't have a house yet.
I
Yeah.
would.
Oh yeah,
It,
that would help.
it would make sense to Oh, okay. So on
Because I know his tenure with us is tentative at the current moment.
yeah. On talking to the seer, or in discussion with the seer, one of the things that I wouldn't say requires. He's not making a demand, but I'm also assuming that both Bowden and to a degree Mr. Gilligan would be interested in facilitating his needs so he likes where he is and would like to stay there, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I'll operate off that kind of assumption. Call it a temple or a shrine able to house himself and essentially allow a place to be visited. The preference would be for if there are any excessively tall, thick trees, the biggest trees, would be the preference to be built out
All right. Bowden has a quest. Bowden, go do quest.
of.
Yeah, I'm just gonna work on re-upping the wood supply because I've used most of it.
Okay. In that case, which tactic are you going to be using? Are you going to be... Pardon me. Are you going to be gathering up a load of people, or are you just going to be kind of like, running it yourself?
Uh, I'd put it out there to see if anyone wants to help me, but I would do it myself if no one does.
Okay. I would say you've got a good, probably 10 to 20 people who aren't currently engaged in other things, crewing one of the ships or just general, either lazing or working around the island. So, we'll run off your, that would be brawn and... Oh, I can't remember what I used for woodcutting before. My brain's
Last time you-
If you're talking about me, I did brawn and convince because I was leading by example, but I was trying to convince people to help me.
Yeah, I think it might be either... brawl doesn't sound quite right, so I guess probably athletics. And what
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what we'll do is we'll take that and kind of like add on the 20 or so, 10 to 20 people who are helping, to kind of like, get an idea of how much wood is grabbed.
Do I get a plus for being a giant?
I would say large definitely helps you, yes.
I think that's the only thing I could try and swing.
I'd say as well, you probably get an extra dice for your background of servant.
Okay.
Just
So I
means
got a plus.
you're used to that type of grunt work, and it doesn't phase you much, so you can just keep going.
So I got a +2.
Yeah.
5 dice. Oh, I didn't do too bad.
32, not bad at all. Running off the 10 to let's just split the diff and say 15. And that's going to be for a decent, significant portion of the day. Representative, probably I'd say like 10 more wood.
All right, so we're at 26 out of 50.
That's not bad. So that's for lockbox. Bowden.
Gotta find me a world tree or something.
Yeah, I would say probably going to be, unfortunately for you, Wit's Notice.
Cool.
I'd love to give you bonus dice for sea legs, but you're on an island, so
Man, I got discerning eye, which could have helped.
yeah.
It's too.
I feel like if I could rope some people in to help me, I would, but I don't know how many people are around who are willing to help Odin.
I'd say you'd be able to get your lads in on it. So that would be well, they're not. Are they Gilligan's or are they yours? I can't remember.
Well,
So Gilligan has a honor guard, basically. I have basically a group of soldiers
Yeah.
that I've been training and disciplining.
Gilgan has an honor guard. Bowden has raiders. I have sous chefs. And
Don Jose
Don
has
Jose.
a few Castilians.
Yeah,
so
that's the
so
groups.
so I have an honor guard, but I also have sharpshooters that I'm training.
Yes.
That is. Should we mark that down in our little NPC connected to PCs?
Yes, it would be worth. If they're not in there, then it's worth noting those things down. So yeah, I'd say probably at least like 5 others will help you, but they are also your people, which means they fit your aesthetic. Which means that, like, they will add to the bulk of the searching, but not to the finesse of the searching, if that makes sense.
Maybe you could press gang in Frank's, Brooks's buddy.
Well, I would bet Franks is on the ship with me and.
I mean, Franks is always around Brooks somewhere.
Franks is actually still on the island because
okay.
Brooks was bored. Franks wasn't bored.
Fair enough. So you could try to encourage Franks to join in. Good luck.
So Brooks was like,
actually, you know what? Thank God he can stop people trying to eat the nightshade.
Yeah, Brooks was like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of bored. I might go on the ship. And Franks was like,
me and Franks have a strange relationship, so I'm not going to attempt to ask him.
But you could ask Lockbox to ask him.
Yeah, it's not so much that Bearded is willing to ask. Bowden does not want to be near him.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I tried.
No, I understand. I'll go ahead and roll that wit's notice and be sad.
Yeah.
No penalties, fortunately, and no bonuses.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
You see trees.
There are trees around.
It's such a shame that Matthias isn't here because he's been the person like wandering around the island the most. He'd probably be able to like lead you in the right direction.
EP. So my character's pretty good friends with Matthias.
Yeah.
And I live with Bowden. Has Matthias ever been over talking about big trees he's found on the island to Gilligan that Bowden might have overheard?
I mean, in this instance, even if he had, Gilligan wouldn't be able to help. He's on a ship headed to...
I meant in the past that Bowden could have overheard while we were just like sitting around the fire or something.
He's probably spoken about he's probably spoken about like the caves and the underground tunnel, and a few and the lake, like a few of the big
Mm-hmm.
kind of noticeable things.
Mm-hmm.
The swamp area, you know,
Yeah, I explored the swamp area.
does have bigger, thicker trees. I'm not sure that it would be a subject of conversation that would be able to be picked up in this instance.
Yeah. Okay.
It is my thinking though.
I can say with that level roll, I probably don't find any trees that Bowden's satisfied with.
I would say not, but I would say you have explored more of the southern area of the island, and you know, like you've it's not going to have any overarching, you know, amazing benefit currently. But you know, like if you need to go out and find things on the island, it will become easier and easier as you keep looking for things out there.
I
So-
picture with that 9, Bowden's actually just in the area we've already logged and is confused where the trees are.
Yeah, I kind of felt like he wandered out onto the island. Took about 20 steps, ran smack dab into a tree, and knocked himself out, and then woke up like 6 hours later and was like, "Oh, it's not."
Man, I must have been running at that tree.
All his men were also knocked out around him.
Is that tree named Officer Friendly? We don't have commissars yet.
True.
Well,
It's actually
I will.
Brigard friendly.
I'll just say that this day is a wash, and I'll
Um,
have to continue another day.
I would say it won't be as much, but you could consolation as you're going. And it could also be the reason why you're a bit slower. Let's say 3 more wood for the stockpile. So as you're searching, you cut down some trees, you send them back, and you know, like
All right.
that would make sense.
Have the boys cut down some trees,
Yeah,
carry it back.
that was part of the reason for today. The outing is also, you know, like find a thing for the seer. The seer wants a nice tree with, you know, cool mystical
probably-
wood or something.
I'll probably talk with Lockbox about it, but I don't know if Lockbox would have any ideas on where I should attempt to look.
I don't think Lockbox has done much exploring of the island either. As I said, it's mostly been Gilligan and Matthias.
You have a better notice and wits than him. Not by much.
I mean, if we put our heads together, we might be able to find something.
Also, I think, no offense to Bowden, I can call on more people easier.
Oh, yeah. Bowden's gotten his force through intimidation and discipline. You've gotten a lot of people happy by, you know, feeding them, which is
I keep their
Pretty
stomachs
good.
full.
Yeah. pretty good.
Speaking of feeding them, pure flavor, but I give my sous chefs the night off, so they don't have to cook if they don't want to.
Noted. I would say, even though you give them all the night off, a couple do kind of volunteer to essentially sous chef you and help out with, you know, just the basics of stuff needing to do. Take off early, obviously, because they still want to relax and drink and sing with everyone else. But yeah, just a little note again of flavor where it's like, oh, boss is, you know, head chef is Gordon Ramsay is making a meal. I'll give him a hand before I take off. He's been nice enough to give us the day off.
I thought of something really dumb, but it sounds just up what a religious fanatic would do.
Okay.
Oh God.
What if I go? Since I have failed this day, I might go to the seer with some of the hallucinogenics and try to consult him for wisdom on where to find this great tree he wants, which probably will involve Bowden getting high.
Okay.
We're
Which
gonna
also
find
could
Bowden.
mean I wander into the woods somewhere.
I was about to say we're gonna find Bowden tomorrow while logging. Bowden's gonna be half naked, yelling at trees.
Are there bears on the island?
No.
Oh,
There's
good. So he won't
crocodiles.
have to. He won't have
There's
to fist
poisonous
fight a bear.
snakes. I mean, the poisonous
Anyway.
snakes might get him.
Okay. So,
It might.
The music just got really loud for me.
I can turn it down a bit.
Thank you.
So, you are, after a long, exhaustive day searching for a tree you're not even sure exists, sat on the outskirts of the beach, where the beach meets where the sand meets the grass, basically, with the seer, who I'm not sure if we named or not. I
Yes,
think
his name
Uh,
is.
Claude.
Yeah. I will post it again real
Yeah, it's listed there. Yeah.
quick. Yeah.
Probably having munched down on some shrooms, and now currently puffing on most likely some type of leaf thing that
Oh god, he found my stash.
I found the smoke leaf.
the hobbit smoke leaf is addling your mind, Gandalf.
Well, we are in the correct area of the world to find marijuana.
True. And the just sat with the seer, and probably you probably have like a little small stone fire pit, small stone fire. Obviously the fire isn't stone, there's stone around the fire. With a few other of your boys sat around. Everyone's a little bit quiet and just kind of contemplating and everything, trying to figure out how you find a tree on an island that is big and impressive, and etc.
Pass the pipe to my nearest boy.
So. At this point, I would assume that the seer knows you, has spent some time, it's not like you, wandered up when you're coming with me, smacked him, and then dragged him off to a random island. You made introductions and invited him, so he'll say, so, Odin, no luck today, then.
No luck today. I wandered into the woods, but found no trees worthy of the temple.
Well, you should not expect to find the perfect tree straight away. Maybe you should wander into this island and stop looking. Then maybe you will find something.
May the fates guide my hand then. Or my feet, rather.
And your eyes as well. I've always found when there is something I've lost, that the second I stop looking for it, there it is on the top of my head. It's the strangest thing.
So, to find the tree, I need to not look for it?
Yes.
I see.
A thing sought after is very rarely found. But when you stop looking, that is when you find the thing you're not looking for.
Sorry.
You're both
why?
pretty high, just for the record.
I know. I was trying to hold it in.
Yeah.
The nothing that I just got told.
Yeah, so, I mean, it means it's such, like, weird, philosophical
Yeah.
mumbo jumpum.
It's not even
What?
philosophy, it's high people talking.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so deep.
What wise words you speak, seer.
Yeah.
I'll take these to heart.
Yes, yes. It's like when I look at my hand, it looks really far away, but big at the same time. It's weird.
Smaller than a ship, but also bigger than a ship.
Yes, if I hold my hand up towards the ship, it looks bigger than the ship, but I can't pick it up. Such is magic.
Just to add a bit of flavor, in the background, Lockbox is standing there with some stew that he was bringing over, just confused as to what's going on.
Tell me, Burden, have you ever licked toads? I've always wondered what toads taste like.
The taste is... They taste like nothing. But then you start seeing things that shouldn't be.
Hmm.
Things that are, but aren't.
Well, when you start seeing things that shouldn't be, that's when you can truly see the truth of what is true. we can have that tail off into like random mumblings of the traditional mumblings of high people and like sat around some type of fire.
Yeah, Lotbox, if you want to go find some poison start frogs for Bowden and the Seer, that would be hilarious.
Steer?
The I feel like concert goers around the world would hear that and be like, I've had this conversation before. Okay.
I've never been super high out of my mind, so I don't really know how to act like it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been that high very often, and not for a long time. But I did go to college, and I did hear a lot of people talking like that at the time. So
I did too, but I was around machinery more,
you
so it would be
need to keep your wits
actual.
about you.
Yeah, you don't want to accidentally stick your hand into the lathe.
Do you ever
Probably not
remember what it
recommended
was?
by your doctor.
Do you ever remember what it was like to have 10 fingers? All right. With that said, your lumber, wood supplies have gone up. More projects will, be very available to you at this point. I do believe. Oh no, because it did come with the cannons. Okay, you're fine. Yeah. So, if there are new projects that you want to start or anything along those lines, do let me know. If there's specific resources you want to go looking for or anything, again, we can start working those out. I'd say you've started to reach a point where the settlement is a full, like, it doesn't feel like a European port. Oh, sorry, what the fuck is the name of the place?
Ian.
A full like Thean port. But it definitely feels like a small little hamlet
Instead,
or village that you'd see. Like you've got quite a few buildings now. Everyone pretty much has a place to stay that isn't a tent unless they like their tent. And there's a decent amount of activity. You're probably at this point up to more closer around to like 100 people total, I'd say. Because you haven't brought in like a lot of people yet, but you've brought in You brought in the Castilians. You've got Gilligan's Herskulls and sharpshooters. You've got the Seer. You've got a few of Bowden's raiders. So it's been bumped a little bit. I'd say it's probably let's just say, for the sake of being precise on it, 105 people total.
Okay.
Because I think you're on like 89, 87 or something.
We were on
Um,
82.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I just changed it to 105.
Yeah, so
Okay.
around about 23 additional people sounds about right, I think. Could maybe argue it to 100 to be completely round, but that's fine. 5 extras. You just picked up a few other people in ports. So we don't need the Oh, we weren't on the right. I did have it on that. Okay. So switching to a different perspective, we move to the boundless seas. As I believe, we pretty much have Gilligan, Crew, and Brooks currently leading the Lucky Lucine, or sailing the Lucky Lucine up towards the up towards the Montaigne port. Probably be it is against the prevailing winds, so it'll be a little bit longer. I'd say probably a week round trip. With probably like 3 to 4 days being up there, and then 2 to 3 days back.
Okay.
The storm has passed through the area by the time you set sail up towards that direction, so you're not going to have to deal with anything too extreme in terms of the sea and I was gonna say what's the word? I was gonna say turbulence, which is in planes, and I forgot the word turbulence as well. As I realised that it was the wrong thing to say. But yeah,
I mean, turbulence works for water.
yeah. The seas are not calm, but they're also not
Choppy.
They're not choppy. They're not particularly dangerous. They're just seas,
Turbulent.
pretty much. I don't know. Is there too much you want to do or talk about or anything during the trip? I feel like until you get to the port, this is a pretty straight shot up there, right?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out to see if I see any other shipping lanes
Okay.
being used. But when we're a day out of port, I'm gonna have a conversation with Brooks.
Oh, okay.
You will have to do this at night. Brooks is
Yeah.
primarily sleeping during the day at the minute.
Oh, I don't know what that's like.
So I will find Mr. Brooks on watch. Mr. Brooks, a quick word, if you will.
Of course, Captain.
Still sounds weird when you say that.
I could go back to Mr. Gilligan, but you are technically the captain, so.
Yes. Thank you. I know you are a man of certain proclivities.
I don't know what you heard or who you heard it from. I can guarantee it's all wrong.
Okay.
Could I make a quick suggestion? In the Brooks is like, who told you that? It's a lie. I've never proclivitied anyone. It seems like the type of thing where Brooks would not know what that meant and assumed it was something bad.
Yeah. I mean, even if he did know what he meant, you don't admit to it.
Well, let's just say I know you're a man of certain talents. I am hoping you keep those talents within reason, and there are no bodies found when we leave.
Well, I mean, leaving bodies is just sloppy.
Preferably, there are no bodies created either.
One I can only partly, guarantee. You can never know what happens. Things will happen. People will get out of hand. Unfortunately, circumstances get away from you, and sometimes you create a body.
I am simply asking you to try your best not to create a body.
I will endeavor to ensure that as few bodies as possible are created, and any that are disappear.
Yes, I don't. You haven't told me you have a very severe patriotism for your homeland, but I know Avalonians in the Montaigne have not had the best rapport.
I wouldn't call it a patriotism for my homeland. It's more of a old rivalry.
Well, simply try your best, Mr. Brooks. That is all I ask.
I'll endeavor to try.
Thank you. And I will leave it at that.
Random Montaignian in the port at night being like, "Oh, why did you stab me?" And Brooks is like, "Well, it isn't because I'm patriotic. It's
But
because
this has got nothing to do with a love for my country and everything to do with hatred of the French.
It's because I vaguely hate you in a way I don't fully understand. Oh, that makes me feel so much better."
I mean, look, you can't confuse patriotism and racism, okay? They're two different things.
I do also like that the subtext of that conversation was, "Brooks, don't kill anyone, you fucking psychopath." And then Brooks going, "I'm not planning to do it, but I also can't promise anything, and we both know this."
I mean, it's bold of him to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, what I read from the conversation was, don't, if you kill someone, hide the body or destroy the body.
Oh no.
Weirdly, that's also what Brooks heard.
Yeah, that's what you heard, but what he said was, "Don't create any fucking bodies," basically meaning don't kill anyone for God's sake. And Brooks like tapping his nose and being, "I got you, yep, don't
I got you, Gov. I've got you.
don't let any bodies be found, gotcha. It's like, no, don't kill anyone. It's like, yeah, don't let anyone find the bodies I make, gotcha.
But how do you claim the bodies if you don't display them in the town fountain?
I mean, that's a little bit barbaric, you know. They're supposed to find them 3 months later, swimming in the middle of a lake.
Died of natural causes.
I like
Dissection naturally kills someone.
I like how you say it, like Brooks would find displaying the bodies like hung up somewhere in the town barbaric, when we both know Brooks is the type of person to cut someone's head off and shove it up their own arse and let that be found, so...
No, come on. He doesn't want the bodies being found, or at least not quickly. They can be found after a while when he's no longer there. He's not trying to get caught after all.
Do carry on if you'd like to have any off-key conversations, just, you know, flashbacks, wherever's flash sides. I just need to grab a drink very quickly, so do carry on while I'm gone. Unless you'd all like to take a break, in which case, go nuts.
Are you sticking
Creepy's
around,
gone.
Scott?
Yeah.
I think
I
she
like how I had to suddenly RP a drug circle while someone was knocking at my door behind me, and I had to talk to them.
Hey,
Fun.
hey, Bowden. Sheepy's gone. In your drug-fueled haze, you remember having a conversation with Mr. Gilligan about how big the trees were up in the swamp.
I was gonna just wander that way anyway.
Odin, I overheard you last night during your powwow with the seer.
You actually managed to unlock your chakras in your drug haze, and you managed to communicate with telepathic.
Does he want toads to eat?
No.
Is that a thing from...
You don't eat the toads. You just lick them.
I can't imagine toads taste good.
No, but it does unlock your mind.
We've also heard some toads are poisonous.
Unlocking the mind has some dangers.
Anyway, you want me to ask around if someone knows where Matthias's maps are, or if Franks could go scouting for big trees for you?
I mean, I will take any assistance in this, but as the seer said, to find something you must not look. So therefore I shall let fate guide my path. And if fate
That
decides that someone else finds my path for me, I will not. Oh, well, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth, as the Avalonians would put it.
I'm not Avalonian, but okay.
I wasn't really. I would never call you Avalonian. You're much better than that.
Right. Well, anyway, what happened to the bowls I brought you all?
Thanks. Thanks. I think they're still on the beach.
Long as you could have them sent back to me at some point today, preferably in one piece. That would be grand.
I do think one of them got broken. I remember one of the boys mouthing off and me hitting him with something.
I suppose I'll have to hollow out another coconut.
Hmm. I wonder if he's still on the beach. Button begins walking towards the beach.
And at that point, another name got added to the Book of Grudges.
Whose grudges?
Someone broke a bowl. Can't be doing that.
Yeah, that is annoying.
Not the person who actually broke the bowl, but the person whose head it was broken on.
Yeah, they shouldn't have had such a thick skull.
No.
I like to imply that Bowden killed him.
You
You should
killed
just-
one of your...
You should just.
That name's gonna get crossed out of the Book of Grudges real fast.
I mean, the weird thing is
You
people
should-
were worried about me killing random people. Turns out somebody else has took that title off me.
Hey, someone go into the tally on how many people live on this island and just reduce it by one.
Oh god, we're going to start having a competition. Who can lower the tally the quickest?
We also need to
God.
reduce your raiders by one.
I don't know how many raiders I have.
Or we could reduce the seer by one.
No, we can't.
Whoa!
If I killed the seer, I don't know what I would do.
You're damned. You're going to hell. Hell.
I don't think you can kill the seer.
Mm. Seer casts shield.
No, we're still almost slightly sure that he might be a traveling god.
Has anyone seen any canaries around him?
Just still looking for toads. He doesn't quite understand what was happening there.
An albatross fouled the ship when we dropped him off.
Oh god. Okay, next we're going to have crows turning up out of nowhere.
What
I
I'm
mean-
hearing is fresh poultry.
I'm hoping that I can.
You will not kill an albatross while you're sailing with me.
There are certain things which are worse than killing a god.
Yeah.
I was talking about the crows.
Maybe I should just get a bunch of ravens to hang out by the new temple when it eventually gets built. Not birthed. The temple was birthed.
Is Sheepy back yet?
I don't
I
think so.
assume not. Assuming Don Fernando is back by now, and no one else wants to speak to people.
Are you on Don Fernando's ship at the moment?
I said assuming he's back by now.
Don Fernando travels at speed of plot. He is there if he is expected.
Alright. Don Fernando, I was wondering if we could start looking into bringing in stone to reinforce some of the buildings in case we get a bad storm. Or building a temple or something like that with stone. I don't get along well with some of the other captains, so I figured I'd bring it up with you.
Okay, and what would be the requirement for such stone? I am not a stonemason. Have we looked over the island if we can use anything from here?
Uh, no, that's why I brought it up to you. You're technically in charge of people, so I figured you could figure it out.
Hey, I have this thing you need to do. No, I voluntold you.
Hey Vito, it's your cousin. You wanna go bowling?
We've
Right.
we've apparently lost a bull and one of Bowden's raiders.
Yes, the
Okay.
two are.
As long as no body is found, we should be fine. Well, I guess we will have to. Maybe Don Fernando or someone will actually make some sort of poll or talk to people who know people if we actually have anyone with at least basics of masonry to even know if we want to construct something, what sort of stone would we even need for that?
Hmm.
Yes, Lockbox Fallen told him to do that.
If it ain't metal work, I can't help you.
I don't know if Sheepy cut out or if he's thinking.
So, generally speaking, on islands, you're not going to get amazing stone. I would say probably the best you're looking at would be maybe andesite.
I don't know what that means for building materials.
You're going to get a lot of volcanic rock. You're not going to get a lot of stronger rock, which is usually better for building.
Okay.
Yeah,
More porous. Got it.
yeah.
But do we have someone who can even work with stone for building purposes?
We can always hire someone, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's the question. If we need to hire someone along with buying rocks for them. Although maybe we could
Yeah,
have found
I
something
need
in
more
the
money for
original
that.
Castilian ship.
We have brick. There was brick on that Castilian ship. I don't know what we did with it.
You haven't
I
used it
think
yet
I.
much.
Oh no, we went out and bought bricks for my basement.
Yeah.
So I can give you this much because there has been some exploring, and very specifically Matthias went up to the hills, like around the lake and etc. Up there you have essentially what you have is you have limestone, volcanic rock, sedimentary rock. So it's not going to be particularly like you're not going to build the Sistine Chapel. But if you want to make some you definitely could build a quarry out, and you have a decent chance of finding a few extra bits and pieces. Sandstone, possibly, which isn't terrible. and there's always the possibility of gemstones and some things along the lines of what was it? Some things like amber, sometimes gypsum. Gypsum is sometimes reasonably useful, graphite, etc. Even clay and copper. So.
Yeah, but kind of my problem is that we will still need some mason to actually put things
Yeah,
together.
I brought it up to Don Fernando to look into see what's up with us working with stone, if we can do that.
Yeah.
If we have the knowledge.
You don't currently have knowledge for the more advanced stuff. If you want to mix up some cement type mixture and throw some stones on top of other stones, or chisel out some bricks, that's doable to a degree. They're not going to be great quality, but they'll be good enough.
So it'd be better to look for masons.
If you
At
want,
this point, it is really question on Mr. Logbox. What does he want to construct?
yeah.
Let's arbitrarily say we have found a crew member that said, "Yeah, I worked on building a warehouse. I can put together a 5 by 5 meters building with 1 story, with stone foundation. It's
above
fresh, but
game. I'm mostly thinking about reinforcements and building and for temples in case like a bad storm comes so we don't have to rebuild everything. So like reinforcing the houses, building up the
what
temple.
size of the thing do you plan? And if you need more than 1 story, because I think if you need more than 1 story, we are kind of screwed.
I would
Or,
say to help out a little bit. If you were to start building foundations and maybe like a few 1-story places, like some of the buildings can be converted to, or you can build a rock version of a storehouse or whatever. Generally speaking, they're going to need to be reasonably small, just because you don't have the know-how to fully build up a massive brick store.
Yeah.
But yeah, very very doable.
I was just seeing if we had anyone who could do reinforcing on the stuff we already have built, because I don't think we have anything taller than 1 story.
I mean, if you want proper temple, then you should have it.
We have 2 stories.
Yeah.
Some of the apartments are 2 stories.
You'd have to limit yourself. You don't have anyone with you who can either foreman or conceive into being a larger structure. So we're talking like small flat 1-story house buildings.
Was that to Perto, I assume?
Just to all of you, essentially.
Yeah. So we don't have any 2 stories then, so it's all 1 story.
Well, you do have a couple of 2-story houses, but
Okay, I understand now.
They're wooden only. I was talking about if you were to go brick and rock.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, I was just thinking about reinforcing, so if a bad storm happens, we have shelter and our temples don't collapse. Because I get the feeling...
You can also just move it a bit more inland, and as you do, like build a foundation of stone and etc. And then yeah, that's doable.
Lockbox is planning ahead.
That's fair. Oh, and I am back, by the way.
Welcome back.
I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I thought I was talking to the voices again.
Well, people have been eating mushrooms and...
And while you were away,
they broke one of my bowls.
I heavily implied that I murdered a man with one of Lockbox bowls.
Noted.
Yeah, I'm being overtaken as the murder hobo.
He is down one of his raiders.
Okay.
Or down the seer. We don't know yet.
Pretty sure the seer's a wandering god, so no, he's not down the seer.
Okay. I would say what you're probably going to run into is, if you can, acquiring a few experts on construction and stuff like that, very doable. Hiring one is going to be an issue. So like you will have a difficulty hiring someone, like bringing them in and then having them conceive of and bring to fruition like cool big buildings out of stone and stuff. Just purely because once they're done, they leave. And then the more people who know where you are and have left, the more likely the secret is to get out that your island is here. And it's full of ne'er-do-well pirates. But
We could blindfold them and put them in the cargo hold
you may have to
during
pay,
transportation.
you may have to pay them more for that. I heard that's extra.
Yeah, that's definitely extra.
I think we also have some whips and chains if they're interested.
Thank you for upcharging everything the quartermastery has to do now.
Hey,
But
we've done none of this. I brought it up to Don Fernando to bring up to the rest of the captains.
you can always leave it up in the expeditions or somewhere around there that you would like certain experts or whatever that will allow you on your expeditions to keep an eye out and always ask if you can go looking for someone likely. It really depends. If you want someone who is like an expert sail maker, generally speaking, they're a bit more high class in a way, so you're gonna have difficulty finding one who's willing to throw in and be a pirate. If you're looking for like a mason, that's a lot easier to find because it's like, wow, it's not a particularly highfalutin job, so it's gonna be like, hey, you random person getting drunk, are you a mason? He's like, yeah, I'm a mason. It's like, you want to come be a pirate? He's like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. And then you have a mason. So.
I'm just picturing, instead of an actual mason worker, it's just a guy named Mason.
James Mason. Well, I mean, that's how people got their names, so.
Oh, I know. I'm just picturing, my name's Mason, and I'm a baker.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
All right. So, with all of that said, would you have you concluded the conversationings, or are there more that need to? I realize.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I just talked to Bowden and Don Fernando as a way to fill the silence.
Cool. In that case, shall we rejoin the Lucky Lucine as it hoves into port? Probably around like midday, a little bit after midday.
By my recollection, did we make good time?
Yes. With we could. I'd say maybe if the weather was a bit worse, or if there was a time crunch, we could maybe do a roll. Unless you really want to make good time and like push the crew and everything, you're going to be making it like 3.5 days or so.
Yeah, I'm not trying to push the crew.
Yeah.
I just want to know if my character thinks they made good time.
Yeah, pretty good time.
Did we already get paid for this job?
Given your early state, it would be cash on delivery.
Okay. Good job, lads. Find me once it's all delivered, and I'll hand you out your share. We'll stay here for a couple days and then head on back. And I'll start organizing them to deliver whatever we're transporting.
I believe they were dispatches.
No, we also picked up dispatches.
Yes. Dispatches.
We picked up dispatches and we picked up something. We were taking this dispatches as extra cash. We had another thing of cargo.
Yes, I believe it was general supplies and so forth, because there's not much land here to, like, the fort itself doesn't maintain its
Supplies.
food stocks and supplies just on what it has. It diminishes the need for supplies. It doesn't cover them.
Okay.
So, I'd say a couple of hours max, and you've rolled out most of the barrels and most of the containers carrying the supplies needed for the place. All go through the call it. Technically speaking, it's like a quartermaster, but it's essentially a small office attached next to the governor's mansion.
Yep.
I keep thinking someone's rolling. Logbox, you can throw it in the
Discord.
Yeah. You can throw it in the Flotsam and Jetsam chat.
Sorry, I just got this pulled up. I will stop doing that though.
You're all good. It just, it does make me think someone's rolling. I'm like, oh, a roll. What's Perto rolling? It hasn't hurt that every time Perto's like, yeah, so I do this, and then there's like a whoop whoop, and I'm like, oh, a roll. Okay.
I'm just that good.
Yeah. Okay. So, are you looking here to establish relations? Because you're essentially, because of the cargo you're taking, the dispatches, both the dispatches and the supplies go to the official, like, say, governor's office, which is nearby the mansion.
Well, how developed is this area? Because the Vodachi had kind of a small town. Like, there was actually industry there. Down here, where it's pretty much a small city, here was like a trading port. We don't know about here, and here was kind of like a small city, large town.
Yes, the Western main port. I can't remember.
Kjolar.
Kjolar, was probably the most built-up trading port. The Castilians, you saw their fort, and while that was still under construction, it looked to be really establishing a kind of, on the tip of that island over there, kind of like a bastion of, most likely going to be cannons, barricade, fortifications, etc. You have all been to the main Avalonian port.
Yeah.
That is, it has much more the vibes of, say, a port back in Thea. It's got vibes of being like a mini Londinium or whatever. Like it's not to the size, but it definitely has the architecture. It's definitely been worked on to feel like home for the Avalonians in terms of like looks and architecture and everything. This is much more like, what's the best way to describe it? Like, you have a small concentrated area which could basically be, I don't know what they call it in Montaigne, but the equivalent of like Paris. You've got like really beautiful architecture, really fancy looking houses, a few streets with some really nice kind of like looking shops and dressmakers and all that kind of thing. You've got the governor's mansion, which is immaculate. You've got a few official kind of like warehouses and like company buildings, and then everything else, which is reasonably large, not massive compared to some of the other places, but is pretty much just like shacks and bits, you know, kicked off to the side, off on the side of the hill or on the outskirts. You very much more than, definitely more than the Western lands and the Vadachi, although the Vadachi have a slightly more of a vibe like this, but nothing so intense of like a definite divide between the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
say you probably also see a slightly increased level of, call them, I'm going to make a fairly sweeping statement and say Marines. What I mean by that is essentially line type soldiers. You know, so they've got
Musketeers.
musketeers, that kind of vibe. But obviously they're more the
Only 3 of them.
well, in the Montaigne port, slightly more on patrol and on guard at certain areas. So,
So harder for me to kill someone at random, right?
Just take out a musketeer.
Do not take out a musketeer.
We'll see who the locals point me in the direction of.
I would say that Brooks, you kind of get vibes of Londinium just purely because in Londinium, like here, there is a vast divide between the haves and have-nots. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously, it feels a bit more snootier and a bit more kind of, you know, like, there's a, you know, imperious, let's say. It probably grates fairly rough against you as well, Gilligan. I don't know exactly Gilligan's, you know, thoughts on class and etc. My guess.
Gilligan believes in the weird, which is everybody has their place in society, but Vestin doesn't believe in kicking down the unfortunate.
Yeah.
We raise everybody up. Like, we are currently trying to make everybody in the country literate. We are teaching them. That's why we brought the objectionists in, because we have modernized our country and are making everybody the best they can be. So one of our closest trading partners are actually the Montaigne, but we don't really agree with how they treat their people.
Yeah, I'm more talking about Gilligan himself as opposed to the Vestin in general.
Yeah, no, it's not something he agrees with. It would... It doesn't bother him to the point where it shows.
Yeah.
But
it's a little twitch of the eye as opposed to soapbox in the middle of the street, basically.
Yeah, it's not even twitch of the eye. It's a kind of soft sigh as he looks over the... I don't know why I want to say barrios. The shacks.
Yeah. Gilligan's like walking down the street and like looks one side and there's the pretty shops and the, you know, French and all that kind of thing, and then looks to the right and sees the shacks and the rundown, you know, people who are like, "There's spare some change, sir," and is just like a little in the top left corner of Gilligan's UI, it just pops up and says, "Gilligan will remember this."
Yeah.
Fair.
Those words in the sky mean.
I'm back. I'm back, and with one package smashed.
Lovely.
Dang.
So yeah, for Brooks, for Gilligan, that is the That's the general gist, the general vibe. Like, you're going to essentially see this to some degree at all of the ports.
Yeah.
If you want a general guideline, the Avalonians and the Castilians are the most militaristically showy. So they have the most forces, and they tend to have the most troops at disposal, or generally, if you go in the right places, on display.
Mm-hmm.
And have just a kind of generic standard disparity of rich and poor.
Mm-hmm.
The Vadachi and the Montaigne have a bit more of a snooty nobility vibe to them. Think like the French before they cut off all the king's heads or the nobles' heads.
Mm-hmm.
The Eisen and the Vesten are probably the most like in the other direction, but you still get the merchants. You know, there's a very distinct difference between the merchants and the more powerful in these areas. Like, not necessarily reflecting the true nature of what things are like at home, but this far away, it's easier for, you know, some I'm not going to say corruption necessarily, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
you're out, you're in charge of everything, you're making a lot of money, you're sending a lot back, but maybe you keep a little for yourself.
Yeah.
All that kind of thing. So just to give you a vibe of
And yeah,
going
and
from.
there's just that soft sigh. This is not surprising to Mr. Gilligan,
Yeah.
because this is what Montaigne's like back in Thea.
Yeah. And I imagine to Brooks it's not surprising at all. It's just, you know, yes.
It's almost like home, only the aristocrats are more snooty.
Smells like home.
Yeah, I'm sure he's much more comfortable in the shacks with all of the beggars.
Just pan over to Brooks, and he's like got his nose in one of the gutters, and Gilligan's like, Brooks, get your nose out that gutter. He's like, and then like starts like scrabbling down towards the shacks.
I mean, I was heading in that direction anyway.
Don't let me get a newspaper.
Make it bucket.
Sorry, I distracted with talk of all places wide and small. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to connect with anyone of influence. I'm not going to necessarily say important, but you're not going to be able to connect to anyone of influence here without, you know, an invitation to a ball or enough money to flash around that people take notice of you. There's still the possibility of connecting with the lower rungs, but as you hand off the dispatches are very politely taken and very quickly paid for in the exact money and very promptly. You very much get the impression that the people in key positions, while they are important to a degree, they don't have influence. You know, so
Question. I have 2 necklaces.
Yes.
One is religious symbology. It's runes carved into bone. And then the other one is a pendant with my family's coat of arms on it.
Yeah.
Could I have the pendant slip out while I'm handing over the letters?
Sure.
If they know what it is, they know what it is. If they don't, they don't.
In this instance, Oh, give me a wits. I think empathy or notice. You're probably gonna want to go with empathy, I'd say.
Yeah, I have empathy.
Yeah.
Wits empathy.
Yeah.
Any penalties?
Ooh, I would say no penalties, but let's just see if there's anything gives you a bonus. Yes, I would say Lyceum gives you an extra dice.
Oh, finally. I've been trying to use this damn advantage.
Hey, you should have gone to France earlier, brother.
Yeah. I'm gonna re-roll one of those ones.
Yep. So 44.
Yeah, 44.
You are reasonably confident that while the clerk or office worker, the administrator dealing with you
Yeah.
does kind of like take note, as in it, it slips out and it dangles, and like the eye drifts to it as it would to any moving thing. You're confident you don't recognize any kind of acknowledgement or knee-jerk reaction to it. Now, you're not 100% confident because people who are skilled
Yeah.
at hiding these type of things,
They're Montaigne. They're
Yeah.
Montaigne, so I'm like,
But given the situation, I would say reasonably confident that they just didn't recognize it.
Okay. I'll put it back under my collar.
Yeah. So, if you like, you can just drop this off and get your pay, which I would say probably amounts to about it's going to end up probably being 20 guilders in the island pockets. Because as I remember, you tend to share the majority of the split goes equally among the crew.
Yeah.
So everyone on the crew has enough to buy a little nicety or something if they want. Most likely, the majority of the crew are going to get a good hearty meal, a whole shit ton of beer or ale, and piss most of it away in the next night or so if they get the chance. But
Yeah.
You can add in 20 guilders onto the.
I just did.
Yeah. Okay. Past that, is there anything you particularly want to do in this port? As I said, you can probably work on making a connection with like the administrator, with a few of the kind of lower rungs of the businesses and stuff here. The problem is that there is a gate to getting higher, and unfortunately, even more than some of the other places, like one of the benefits of the Vadachi is that the important people don't mind kind of lowering themselves down a little bit. Because they're merchants, the important people are merchants very often. In some of the other places, and one of the problems you found with the Avalonians, but it's even worse with the Montaigne, is all of the merchants are run by the nobles. So you can make connections, and you can organize something like, maybe a couple of crates of booze or something falls off the back of a wagon, and you manage to pick it up, but you're severely limited in how useful the contacts will be until you manage to, if you manage to break deeper into the noble ranks, basically.
Yeah. a connection is never worthless. So yes, I will be attempting to make a contact.
Okay. Any?
I'm
Mm.
with what you told me, I'm gonna shoot for like a middle rung person of importance.
Okay. What are you thinking? What are you looking for here? Like, you've got the options. There's a few trading companies.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really like the other, like the Vadachi or what you're used to with the Vestons.
Yeah.
You probably dealt with Montaigne trading companies before, but
Yeah.
you got a few trading companies. You got a few like important shops or places like that. You got kind of like the guard captains and the more military naval people. Although past like a mid rung for those are going to be even less useful than a administrator at a merchant company.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've
Yeah.
got like the officials, the harbor master and places like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a list of people I wanna get in contact with, and you can tell me who is actually viable.
Okay.
Um, I would like to get the harbor master in our pocket. That is always a
Hmm.
useful person to have. Um,
So
if and if any of the Montaigne trading companies have close connections with the Vendel League, I'd like to talk to their person in charge.
yeah.
Not the noble, but the guy who actually runs the day-to-day operations. And then if I can pick up any information about a middle ranking military member who has like a bright future,
Hmm.
I would like to make friends with that person.
Okay. Okay. I would say the harbor master isn't too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Slip him a tip. Ask him to remember you for the next time you come back, and there'll be more of the same, and you'll have a
Mm-hmm.
friendly harbor master. They don't get paid particularly
Okay.
well, and it's one of the reasons why it's reasonably easy to port up. Because if you slip them a little extra when you are laying keel to the port, you can pretty much get in, no questions asked. It's happened before for you already.
Yeah.
In
And
term,
remember, the I didn't accept any pay other than what I need to pay for myself.
yeah,
So they got a bigger share than I did.
yeah. The trading companies, you can probably it'd be difficult to set up a meeting with anyone important, but you could definitely hang around a couple of the trading companies and make friendly with the call them like receptionists or
Mm-hmm.
administrators, just the clerks
Yeah.
to a degree. You probably you know what? Let's
So with the clerks, I would actually like to make friends with them because they're the type of people that if I write a letter, they can make sure it gets to the right spot.
yeah. Give me a panache. I want to say empathy or convince, but I wish there was just a straight up social.
Are any of them female?
Generally speaking, you do get women involved, but they tend not to be middle rung.
Mm-hmm.
They tend, if they are involved, they tend to be
The
related
highest.
and so
Yeah.
higher. Yeah.
I'm talking about secretaries, receptionists,
I thought you were gonna
that type
say
of
I'm
thing.
talking about sex. It's like, yes.
No, no, no.
Um. probably a couple, but after some basic small talk, it becomes and you know, like, small talk hiding a little bit of like pointed questions for information gathering. I won't make you roll for this. It becomes apparent that they're not even particularly in positions of like in usable positions, right? Like secretaries, etc. You'd be able to get them to get a message to the people you can already talk to, essentially.
Okay.
As I said, there's more of a gate here of entry.
Okay. So the trading companies are a bust.
Not exactly
What?
a bust. If you give me a panache, and I'll say convince, and the reason I'm talking myself into convince is because while you'll be trying to be like casual and chatting and stuff, the convince is like to get them to open up more than they usually would, the more standoffish kind of, I'm just, you know, trying to put them at ease.
Yeah. Okay. I will be using my +1. Do I get another +1? Any other pluses?
Let's have a look here. You get a +1 for Silver Tongue. And I'd say you get a +1 for your merchant background.
Okay.
Because this is specifically chatting to merchants and the like, so it just makes sense.
Okay, so +3 altogether.
Yes. Wanna reroll a 3?
Yeah, just for fun.
Just for the why not sees? Okay. I don't do maths that well, so someone else can figure out what the fuck that means.
I think it's a
52?
53.
53, yeah.
Okay. Pretty good. Yeah, so through conversation and essentially portraying yourself as a harmless merchant, especially being a Veston, you know, like it's probably something you get the vibe of a fair amount of the time, is like in some indescribable slight way, a lot of the other countries, the people of those countries, I wouldn't say necessarily underestimate the Veston, but they have this kind of like, oh, yeah, the Veston, they're traders, they're, you know, barbarians a little bit. They're not as much of a refined threat as those other bastards like the Castilians or, you know, etc.
Yeah.
So they don't so much expect the refined incisiveness that you can bring to a conversation, which puts them more at ease and underestimates you a little bit.
Good. I like that.
Some of it's snobbery, you know, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
This is why we should just get rid of them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Look, I'm working on it, but there's only so many I can stab in the back.
Please don't stab anybody in the back.
Hey, Brooks, where are you from again?
I'm from Londinium, or or if we want to be specific about it, the people who hate the French.
You hear?
I mean, if you say people who hate
I
the French, that
hear.
is not really limiting anything.
Good point. The Avalonians.
You hear that there is a lot of lower echelon rumblings about the situation here in port. Now, it's nothing that is particularly worrying, at least to the clerks and etc. you speak to.
Yeah.
But it's enough to be like, if this port keeps growing, if the divide and the oppression continues, it's so far away from mainland Thea, it's so out of the way, you could see the unwashed masses rising up, or if you get a particularly firebrand speaker kind of whipping them into a frenzy, rushing off to the governor's mansion and burning it down, and guillotining the nobles and all that kind of nonsense.
Brooks, are you writing this down?
I don't think
I'm
Brooks is
considering
much of a firebrand.
But the problem is that all sounded very, very, French.
Yeah.
I could see him firebombing a governor's house.
I could see him firebombing a governor's house. I couldn't see him getting up on a soapbox and convincing everyone else to do it.
I can see him firebombing a house.
Yeah.
Any house.
Probably even his own house.
I could see Gilligan like on a soapbox being like, "Brothers, rise up against your oppressors, the ones who've held you." And then you just hear like a shh, 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 and he like turns around. He's like, "Brooks, what are you doing?" He's like, "You said set fire to buildings, right?" He's like, "The governor's building. That's a shack."
That's fine. We won't need it once we're done.
Just like looks down, like the fire could spread to the governor's building. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this isn't something that is pending. It isn't even really something that's brewing. It's just a general, regular dissatisfaction that comes along with any divide. But it's something that
but
is being
it's
noticed.
also a possible future market for arms smuggling.
Arms smuggling, yeah, there's some possibilities in there for sure. You also hear, which may be part of the whole, problem, that in around about a month or so, it's expected that some no-name, unknown Montaigne dignitary is going to be coming through to start overseeing the construction of some plantations, of a couple of mines, and kind of, basically bring Montaigne nobility and refinement to the colonies. It's not really to the colonies, it's to a small port on a fucking island.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He's an architect, you say?
No. He is...
Okay, shit.
Yeah. No, he is a... consider him almost like a diplomat.
Okay.
Or like a landowner, a noble. He's coming up with extended family. He's probably going to implant a couple of his daughters or sons in businesses to run things, make some more money for him, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
But it is also accompanied with a fairly large and lavish ball, and the influx of some more, workers and etc. coming on over on a few boats. So that's the main piece of gossip and everything. There'll be a big ball party at the governor's mansion for a few days, and nobles and officers will be brought in, prospective brides and prospective husbands, all that kind of crap.
Good to know.
I can see him planning which ships we're going to attempt to take.
No, I'm planning on how to get an invitation to that party.
So long as we can rob them afterwards, it's fine.
Maybe they're looking for an impressive cook.
I'm thinking about one of you guys dropping me off at the Vestinport and me hitching a ride. And you guys can have 2 ships to do whatever you want with.
I mean, there's a whole load of possibilities in there. So,
Yeah.
It's not for a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say, apropos of of all the other things you're doing. While you're kind of, wandering around and etc., you could, if you want, negate the 20 guilder to bring back, like, let's say probably about a month's worth of food supplies, general needed rations and water and whatnot back to the island from the Montaigne port, if you want.
Yeah, actually, that sounds better to me than just putting in 20 guilder.
That's what I figured, and it's not that your food supplies are running low, but it's always good to be, buffered.
So that'll give me how much food supply? Because we don't need water. We have fresh water.
Probably
Uh,
2.2.
2.2, so we're at 3.4.
Oh no, 2.2 total. Sorry.
2.2 total. Okay, never mind.
It's about a month's worth of supplies without need to ration, so.
And these guys have seeds too. Can I get some potatoes, tomatoes, corn, anything like that?
Potatoes.
Yes, there are a few bits and pieces. I would say probably aside from the more standard ones, you're looking at probably indigo, sugar, and coffee.
Not interested in any of those.
How can you say no to coffee?
How can you say
My
no to
character's
sugar?
Because that shit's super expensive.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for things we can actually turn around and grow. Coffee has to be processed for it to actually be decent. Sugar actually has to be processed. Plus, that stuff's labor intensive. Do you guys want to start farming?
I mean, we've got to have something that we make the hostages do.
I assume that the coffee is already processed. Like that's not like seeds for planting. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I'm looking for seeds for planting.
Yeah, I mean, the rest is kind of stuff that you have available to you already, basically. But
Okay,
those
so
would be the standouts.
yeah,
Indigo
so
especially.
no new plants, no corn, tomatoes, or potatoes. Got it.
I think you had maize already, right?
No, we didn't. We have. Oh, is that the 6 mystery seeds?
No.
Because we have 6 cucumbers plants that our characters don't know about, but we know about OOC, and then we have 6 mysterious plants that are currently growing in the garden.
Yes. So I forgot that they were mysterious, and they were in my notes. They are maize seeds.
Okay, nice.
The cat's out of the bag. Damn it. Don't worry, they are not mint.
It's fine. I've got plenty of that.
I fucking
That one
swear to
that I
God.
knocked over.
Oh no. It's fine. Whenever anyone asks, there's just going to be mint tea around everywhere. Just we got to use
Oh.
it for something.
There is one actually that we haven't hasn't been available to you in the other places yet. Given the location and the fact that the French have, the Montaignes have explored a little bit further along the Vadachi towards the mainland. Sweet potatoes.
Oh, I'm buying some of those. We're planting those.
Yeah.
Are you also buying regular potatoes?
Yes, if they have them.
Yeah, I think they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can, I'll get a few sacks of sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, and we can use some of those to plant and start growing more potatoes.
The only other obvious thing here that you don't have currently that you could pick up in this Montaigne port is syphilis, but I'm just assuming you don't want to.
I mean, Brooks might, but I'm not. I'm staying
I
away.
About to
assume
say.
I'm pretty sure no one really wants to know what Brooks is going to be doing.
I
Yeah.
assume we already had syphilis at home.
No, you can't have any more syphilis. We have syphilis at home.
But Gilligan?
I want
Nope.
syphilis now.
There's only one person that's had sex in this campaign so far.
I doubt
Who
that's
brought
true.
syphilis? Who brought syphilis home with them?
And did you bring enough to
Man.
share with everyone?
Bowden's canonically has a wife and daughter.
You had that before the campaign started.
Fair enough.
Yeah, as the only person who did the sex, I don't think I have syphilis. And I'm surely not going to spread it around the island.
We don't know what you're into.
Yeah.
Not men.
Yet.
But
You don't have to be, but $20 is $20, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
What is that into campaign money?
I don't know. 20.
Probably like
It's
5
sometimes a lot.
guilders is 5 guilders.
America doesn't exist technically, alright? So, or the US doesn't exist technically, so there are no dollars. Which is what bucks
So
is.
what you're saying is you want me doing it for free. Not gonna happen.
Okay, so he's agreed to do it, just not for free.
Yeah, yeah. I see where this is going. Sorry, buddy. I
What?
don't want to pay you anything for that.
Exactly. No one wants to pay Lockbox nothing.
Alright. So, is there anything else you'd like to get done? No, honestly here, like, there's not too much in the way of... Oh, as a note as well, the markers on the map of the Atabean Sea is predominantly, like, the cores of important places. It is assumed that there are farms and mines and like small resource gathering places around and about the area of influence that the countries have.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, that area with the farms is because it's nearby along the coast near the Ison and Veston ports.
Okay.
And that is also something that will be apparent to Don Fernando, but also to the rest of you as he talks about it, is that there is the potential in the future as more homesteaders come in trying to claim land and stuff, that the Veston and Ison may have some disagreements over who exactly owns that island and how much they're allowed to be there, and etc. etc. So, not something that's important yet, but could be important in the future.
Well,
Bring in the dead bodies.
zooming in, the Eisen aren't even part of the main island. We have an actual blob of color there. So
Huh.
that's not their island, that's our island.
I mean, I'm sure that's what the Veston would say, but
Yeah.
I suppose, now we've heard about Montague's high life. What would Brooks be able to find out about their low life?
honestly, there's not too much going on.
He's specifically looking for, targets that people won't miss. If
God
he,
damn it!
yeah,
I mean, children bodies are probably the easiest to hide.
yeah.
I said won't miss.
The problem you have here is, like, if you want to like hide in an alleyway down one of the more manky parts of the port, you can, but the person you're going to be jumping out on and kicking to the ground and stealing their wallet doesn't really have any money anyway. Like, you could get a few coins every now and then through some form of hoodwinking or mugging or kicking down doors, breaking into poor houses. The problem is poor houses are poor. The one of your bread and butter back in like Londinium and etc. If you're wanting to be a little bit of a rapscallion, let's say, would be the more middle class. You know, people who aren't important enough that they'll care too much when they get robbed, but they're not poor enough that they don't have enough worth robbing to make it worth the risk. The issue you have with the Montaigne is you don't have much of that. If you rob a shop, you're robbing from a noble. If you rob a shack, you're robbing from someone who doesn't have anything to give you, you know?
Yeah.
So...
In that
think
case,
he's
more
more after-
like, well, more after people who've been causing problems for some of the lower class that they'd like to stop causing them problems. But again, people that I'm not going to cause a huge fuss if I end up doing something to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he's more after lives than coin.
Well, that would be another problem, is that the people who tend to make a Montaigne peasant's life terrible is the people that... I don't know, you could maybe find like a guard or something who is a bit overly aggressive when it comes to shoving peasants out the way, but you know, generally speaking, if they had the ability, the people the peasants want to kill are the nobles, because they're assholes and they've got a lot of money and the peasants don't. You know.
I mean, Brooks is brave, but he's not that stupid.
Yeah.
If it was a particularly abusive god, he might consider it. But
you're going to honestly, if you're looking for wet work specifically, the better way would be to. All right, let's run this into a roll, shall we?
Sure.
God damn it.
Hey, look, you came here with a job. Or a plan, at the least.
I came here with a job. You came here to ruin my job.
You see, you should have specified, don't kill anyone. You just specified, don't let them be found.
No, I specified don't create bodies.
But what role was it that I was supposed to be going for?
I would say go with wits intimidate, and you can have a bonus dice for streetwise and criminal. So 2 bonus dice.
That's just wits. Wits intimidate, and then
I'm using intimidate because that feels like the most appropriate. Like,
I was thinking maybe empathy, but then it'd be the same.
Yeah, also empathy is a bit more like understanding how people are feeling as opposed to imposing upon. Okay. 26.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not really sure where exactly to start here. You go to a likely looking tavern. The problem is that generally speaking, people go to taverns to hire disreputables, but you're used to already having contacts, and people know who you are. So there's not really an opportunity here to basically put to be like stand up on a table and be like, hey guys, I'm an assassin. I'm looking to fucking murder people for money. So if anyone has a job, come like that. That doesn't really work. I would say, given that role, you make your existence known and maybe even strike up a slight friendship with one of the tavern owners that you visit, to the point where it's not quite there, but your name will be your let's call it moniker will be remembered in the future, maybe if possibly someone is like, oh, I really need this person to disappear, or this person is a problem. They'll be like,
I have a feeling
well,
I'm going to get dragged into a revolution here.
More likely, and this is something you'll get a vibe for. Like, you're not going to get some poor peasant who wants to overthrow the nobles, hiring you to make a political assassination. More likely, you're going to get some toffee noble who doesn't want to get their hands dirty, getting you to kill a rival of theirs, or like someone who's in the way, or someone who's a bit of a nuisance, like that type of thing.
I suppose that's one way to gain connections.
I mean, it's tenuous currently.
Hmm.
It's a start. If you come back here if you come back here reasonably regular, you may be able to set up a kind of, call it like a Dropbox type thing, where someone will request something and give a price, and you can either say yes or no, and then collect later. But currently speaking, it's very much a noble, or more likely a flunky of a noble, will wander into the bar casually and say to the bartender, like, "Oh, do you know anyone who might be able to deal with a problem we have?" And the bartender may remember your name, or may remember you, and be like, "I've got one person, I'm not sure when they're going to be back, but leave it with me and I'll see what I can get done," kind of thing. That's just going off your role, which, I'm not going to lie, was not amazing.
Yep, whenever I want to roll something things that are fun, it's like, no, but if I want to, shoot a cannon, that's when it somehow managed to work.
How is that not fun?
Shooting a cannon's fun.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Look at Usopp.
Hell yeah.
He hits a rock.
Yeah, he did.
I took out a main mast of a building. I mean, a ship.
Damn, you got main master of a building. That's impressive.
Oof.
Yes.
Just ripped it right out.
Lockbox may have been drunk.
You want some shrimps?
So, are you... Pardon me. Are you both happy with the inroads being made in Montaigne Port?
I just have to ask, was there no up-and-coming military officer that I could have befriended?
Again, you're going to run into the same problem of, there are military officers that you can make some connections with. The problem is that any up-and-coming one is more a fortunate son.
Yeah.
So they're going to be nobility, and it's going to be hard to get close to them. And even if you do, you're not really going to be able to make much headway unless you have, credentials, basically. So you talk to a few, talk to a few kind of, like, call it career officers or lower class officers, but the more you try to get to the influentials, the more apparent it is that you're going to need to lay some more groundwork, or get some good credentials, forge something, get into a party, get into a I don't know, possibly maybe like a backroom poker game or something could possibly be a way, but again, you guys haven't really been here enough to know the ins and outs of the place. For
that's
more
fine.
backdoor stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get inroads into the 3 types of people I talked about.
Well,
So yeah, I'm good with it.
Yes, unfortunately, Montaigne is probably the most... I'd say probably Castile as well, just because of your guys' situation. Those are probably going to be the most difficult to build connections and infiltrate into, or etc. Actually, no, Avalon might be a bit difficult as well, given the previous employment situation.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure I'd fit right in.
Yes.
Just as long as they don't, remember who we are.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, they betrayed us. We didn't betray them.
And technically speaking, they think you're all dead, so... That could be a surprise, a fun surprise for them. Oh, you are alive, and our betrayal didn't work. Oh, shoot.
Well, what betrayal do you speak of?
Oh, no, it's no betrayal, nothing at all.
Exactly, so you can hire us again.
Guards? I see you called our bluff. Well played, sir. So yeah,
Gilligan calls for guards, and his honor guard shows up. It's fine.
Again, calls for guards, and it's just Lockbox and Bowden.
Close the door behind us. Lock it.
Yes,
Guards?
I'm
Guards?
sure that will
There's
go
no one.
swimmingly for you. And by swimmingly, I mean you'll be thrown to sharks.
I was about to say, and by swimmingly, you mean we'll be swimming with the fishes.
Yeah. I don't believe they made cement exactly currently, but get him some cement shoes. So yes.
What the fuck is cement?
It's fine. I have a smelter. We can settle for iron.
I mean, we were looking for construction workers.
Dip his feet in iron and throw him in the sea.
Well, I'll kill him first.
So I believe that will probably cover everything you're looking to cover here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you head back. Again, it's a little bit quicker, probably 2 days. The wind, the weather is pretty decent. Nothing to worry about, but nothing, like.
Does Mr. Gilligan check in to make sure I didn't kill anyone whilst I was aboard?
Nope.
Okay.
There was no alarm raised. As far as I know, no bodies were created, and that's as far as I want to know.
I had to ask.
Like day two of two of the trip back, while it's dark, your door just gets kicked in, and Mr. Gilligan's like, ear check, and just like searches through your like necklace and etc. See if you've got any extra ears on it, and
I mean,
I don't know
ear
why.
check.
When you
Why
said ear
ears?
check,
That's a Bowden kind of thing, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Brooks seems like the type of person to keep ears,
That's how you get caught.
Yeah, he keeps the pinkies.
Look, I'm not some barbarian who will display my kills. I'm an assassin, for Christ's sake.
You're also a psychopath that gets an itch to stab people very, very often, it seems.
Just a little bit often.
does that mean I have to display that one guy I conked with a bowl?
Yes.
He's actually
No.
hanging up in the middle of your house.
It's down
Oh,
to you,
please
really.
no.
I think the
you-
actual joke was that I knocked him out and he's still lying on the beach somewhere, was what the joke was actually. I don't know where it got to. I killed the man with a bowl.
It's like,
You got it to where you killed a man with a bowl.
Yeah, you said
Anyway.
it was heavily implied.
Actually, this might be a bit academical question, but at what points of separation will some of body parts cease to be a body? Say there was a body, but it got turned into two halves of body. Is it still a body? Or into how many pieces does it need to be cut to no longer be a body?
Until it's able to fit into a soup.
I suppose if
Then
you
it
can,
becomes a soup.
cut it into small enough pieces that no one can tell how many bodies there were, but that's a bit of a challenge.
these type of conversations is where the satanic panic originated from like the 80s, 70s, 80s for
Yep.
TV and stuff.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
It's a good thing no one watches these videos that aren't us.
That's not true.
That's not entirely true, because at least one of the videos has almost 100 views, which is bizarre.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
also
God.
slightly concerning.
All right, Brooks, you have a new list.
Did I
Did I get on the list now?
did I throw out to you guys that I have put the
No, you didn't tell us it's on the Shorts channel, but I assume that's where you're going.
Yes, these episodes, aside from episode 1, which I just can't find at all, are on the extras channel.
Ah.
So yeah, just a heads up if you want to go back and watch any of them. There is also my first video, which is a random rant I did on someone else's rant on some list, and there's also a little patron extra, which is myself and a few other people playing Helldivers
Helldivers
2.
2.
It
Yeah.
pretty much consists of me trolling Perto, Mr. Matt, and Helix, and occasionally getting set on fire by Mr. Matt's laser.
PP,
Yeah.
I want to play Helldivers with you so I can show you the true path to freedom.
I mean, yeah, like we, jump in the voice chat sometime. We sometimes play Helldivers. I do have some plans for extra patron content, or not even content, like extra patron activities. It's just a case of getting to the point where I can spend a few hours working on them, enough to get them organized in my head and kind of down on paper, so they're not a complete and utter mess.
But that's half the fun.
Yes, but it will be fun in kind of like everything is going wrong and we're all laughing because we're going crazy, as opposed to, oh, this is a fun idea and let's enjoy ourselves with it, which is what I'm aiming for currently.
GP, I don't have to go anywhere.
I'm not sure how that relates to.
What a
Going
strange threat.
insane.
Oh,
I'm already crazy.
Right. I get you now. But yes, the core of what I was saying is the first 6 episodes, not including episode number 1, of Flotsam and Jetsam are now up on the YouTube if you want to go check them out as well. So this one will be quick edited and thrown up on the YouTube and then available on the Patreon too. Along with hopefully very soon, I will be throwing up a little extras, which will be specifically for the patrons only, which will be the BTS, I guess, for Man of Most Foul. So all the outtakes, and there's not a whole load of like big bloopers or anything, but there's a lot of like little bits of conversation when we took breaks or when we stopped for a moment, which I'll try to throw together into a little compilation of us chatting. Cool.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry. Back to where we was at. Yes.
I'm waterboarding Brooks to make sure he
Yes.
didn't stab anybody in the Montaigne port.
And Brooks is
You're
weirdly
a
into
brave
that.
soul.
I have 4 very burly men.
Who he sleeps with.
Yes.
I knew it.
We stay warm.
Anyway, seriously though, how close are we to the thing? Are we likely to come across any ships on our voyage home?
On the voyage home, I'd say you see a couple of you probably see at least one kind of transport ship with a few escorts heading down southeast. But it's mostly carrying aforementioned, indigo, coffee, etc. Probably either going to trade directly with the Western port, or possibly heading even further back to Montaigne.
Okay, are there any of those that are lightly guarded? Because I'm not willing to buy that stuff, but
You're looking at a couple of brigantine escorts. So the brigantines is around about what the Kelpie was.
Yeah, I'm not
So
looking for anything that's that heavily armored.
no, like I would say with the Lucky Lucine and the uh war sloop, you have a decent chance of winning, but you're looking at a very dangerous prospect where you may lose one or both of the ships in the process.
Yeah, I do not have the war sloop with me. I'm specifically looking for like a galley.
Right, right. Not currently, no.
Okay, that's fine. It was a target of
Oh,
opportunity,
well,
not
sorry.
some.
Like you do have a galley. It's probably a little bit smaller than a galley, so probably like a caravel.
Hmm.
That is the thing that looks to be the thing that's transporting majorly, with the brigantines being escorts for the thing. So that's why it's a tricky prospect.
Yeah, no, that's two brigantines. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not Don Jose. I'm not going up against overwhelming odds and thinking I'll survive.
But if you in the future, if they're stretched thin or they start getting more to transport, you might see examples of them a transport ship and one brigantine, or even like a couple of
Mhm.
catches. At that point, you'll be better poised to take those type of things. Hopefully. But no, currently there doesn't seem to be anything looking particularly juicy to take on.
Okay.
Okay. So you head back. I believe you're taking potato and sweet potato seeds. Although I'm
Yeah,
fairly sure you already had potato seeds.
we did not.
Oh, okay.
The only thing we have are those mystery seeds, which we do not know what they are.
Yes, you currently
And
don't know that they're maize.
yeah, exactly. and and the non-mystery seeds, which will turn into cucumber plants, but we don't know that yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the trip back, aside from searching Brooks for ears, is pretty much non-eventful. You managed to get in sight of the island within like 2 days. Beginning of the third day, basically, you can hove in and I know that's not proper, but you can park up and start unloading the supplies. Take them to either the cellar if they are perishable, or take them towards the warehouse if they are not.
Mhm.
You have a decent amount of money. 400 guilders is enough to buy you some experts or hire on some more people if you decide you want to start expanding, or anything along those lines. You got 2.2 months of food supplies, which is everyone indulging themselves as and when they feel like it. If things get tighter, you can extend that quite decently by rationing, which, as
And I have
sailors,
my
you're all quite used to rationing, so there shouldn't be, as long as it's not too extended, there shouldn't be too much complaining.
my own abilities as a cook extends it further too.
Yes. You have a fair number of common items which have yet to be redeemed. So
Mhm.
if there's certain specialist things you need done, or sorry, not specialist. If there's certain things you need done, you can always redeem those. You got 5 specialist items, which essentially means anything very special, metallurgy, that type of thing. You can redeem those to grab yourself, if you want to start casting iron balls or some type of alchemy or whatever. Like, those are available to you. You also have some raw resource extraction tools. You can expend these either to start some raw resource extraction, so clay or stone, etc., etc., or you can just say, sheepy, I really want a bit of a mess of quick lumber or something, and you can just expend one of those to,
Can we build a coal mine and give people the black lung?
Currently speaking, you are not aware of any coal on the island.
Yeah.
The real question is, can we mine for some arsenic?
No.
Currently speaking, you are not aware of any arsenic on the island. You can keep going. I may be saying the same answer and over and over again.
It's fine. We won't need arsenic.
Creepy. Can we look for some ore veins?
You can. You may want to, and you can use a specialist item to help you with that, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You may want an expert. I don't believe anyone here has done any prospecting before.
God, no.
BP,
You may
is there any... Oh.
Sorry, you may also want to get Matthias in here. He's probably the best choice for a actual prospector.
Sheepy, is there any unobtainium on this island?
You are not aware of any unobtainium currently on the island, although you have glimpsed a blue person scurrying around. That may, however, be the mushrooms.
God damn it, Bowden.
Mushrooms are everyone. Speaking of mushrooms,
You've brought the Smurfs.
oh, I assume I've just been going into the woods at random at this point,
So
trying to look without looking.
What I will do as well at this point, because I think it's a good moment to do so, is we'll run a quick upkeep.
Okay.
So take off, I'll say 0.2 months of food supplies. So we'll just dock it down to 2 months of food supplies. Take off, I would say probably, I'd say probably about 30, let's say 32 to keep it round, bottles of rum.
No. Control Z that. We have 5 tons of rum, which means each ton is 252 bottles.
Oh, okay. In that case, put it to 4.5 tons.
4.5 tons.
And we'll run down, I think, 50 guilders just for general wear and tear and paying people and, taking money out for certain bits and pieces. Oh, and take off 2 wood reserves just for general firewood and etc.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
Yeah. Currently speaking, and obviously the majority of these are representative of, so the wood reserves, it doesn't mean you have 27 pieces of wood. It means you have a representation of a lot of wood, which is, out of 50. So, you got a lot of wood currently, and people go to get, chop up some firewood, etc. It slowly takes it down. Same with the food and etc. So, all right. At this point, everyone is back at either Kelpie's Rest or they're on the beach, so pretty much Kelpie's Rest. You have, in terms of the crew and everyone seems to be pretty upbeat for the most part, aside from Master Gunner Rowan. You assume he's upbeat. It's very hard to tell because you can't tell what the fuck he's saying.
Yeah,
He also is
buddy.
He is also still in his tent. So I picture him to be one of the people who loves his tent.
He does love his tent. You think.
Sure.
Every time you ask him, he says, sleeping.
Tent.
But yeah, the general feeling amongst the denizens of the island of your pirate cruise are things have gone pretty well. You know what? I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I feel like the general the two people who would get a feel for how everyone is currently feeling, amongst yourselves at least, would probably be Don Fernando and weirdly Lockbox. I don't say weirdly because it's like, you know, he's antisocial or anything. I just feel like, generally speaking, if you're a chef and you're serving people day to day, you tend to get a vibe for the happiness, you know?
Yeah.
This is like, and Don Fernando has kind of proven himself as a reliable officer and has been taking the crews out and etc. I know it feels like he'd
Yeah, I
be-
mean, as an officer, it is my responsibility. It is my duty to take care of the crew and know how they are doing.
yeah. So if both of you could give me a we'll say a wits empathy, I think would work here. And if you have any, I can have a look for you both.
Can I talk it into panache, however you say it?
Panache, I would say actually weirdly, not weirdly, actually yes for you, because that would be a case of you chatting and putting people at ease while serving them food. That would be the scenario where you get the vibes. So yes, panache would work for you.
I don't think I used my +1 to seduce someone.
I assumed you wouldn't, but it's good
Oh
to
god,
know.
I don't know anything.
So, yeah.
Um,
Penalty, no. Bonus,
I mean, I have
yes.
no empathy, so I mean 1 point. So
yes, but you will get an extra dice for leadership. And
do I just roll that 1 extra dice now, or
yeah, so if you roll 2 extra dice, you got leadership and you got naval officer. Both of those would have you trained in keeping an eye on your crew and etc. to see how they're feeling.
so 31? Not
Okay.
that's terrible.
Do I just get a +1 from my food bonus, or could I talk you?
Let me have a look.
Could I talk you into giving me another one, since I'm a cook and used to dealing with everyone, so I know their general moods usually?
Let's have a look here.
None.
I would
Oh.
I would give you an extra 1 for servant, just because that gives you a better insight into people from a lower station or who are less important and how they're feeling.
We both got a 30.
36, okay.
He
Yeah.
got 31. I got 36. Don't know if that'll matter.
So I could give you the general insight that everyone's pretty much satisfied or happy with the current situation. With your roles, I can go into a little bit more detail. They are excited to be building something, like feeling a part of something, especially with the successes on a couple of the raids you've done. Especially against the Castilians. Even though you have a few Castilians with you as well, you get the sense that more and more as you keep building and as you keep succeeding, the ties of nationality or the loyalties of nationality have eased off a little bit, and it's much more become us against them. So when you took the Castilian ship, there was still a little bit of like, when you took the Vadachi gemstone ship, it was really a case of like, yes, we did it, as opposed to like, oh, we took a Castilian ship, like, yay, but also, you know, that's maybe my country or maybe my enemy. Now it's just a feeling of like, we're going and we're taking things for ourselves. So it's not solidified yet, but there is definitely a group feel as opposed to being like, oh, we're Castilians, we're Vestons. It's like, yeah, we're those things, but we're pirates, you know, we're our own thing. Which, as much as some people may not like it, that is helped by Skelton and I mean, mumbles a little bit, but not really, because no one can really understand what he's saying. And Tristane, who have
Mumbles is the best of us.
Mumbles is the
How
best
dare
of
you.
us, but it's hard for people to feel attached to someone they don't understand. And when I say
That's
don't
what makes him
understand,
great.
oh, absolutely,
He's
But-
Welsh.
He could be.
Yeah, now tell us what city is he from, and we should try to guess the pronunciation.
Oh god, you just asked him to tell you a Welsh city.
Oh, so if anyone would like, they can ask Mumbles where he's from.
Sure. I'll ask him.
As he's-
So
What do
Rowan.
what do I roll to understand?
Oh, you don't roll.
Okay.
This is RP.
So Rowan, where are you from?
I am from the front guard.
Front guard.
Ah, no, no. It's a fungar.
Fromger.
The fungar.
Fungus.
Bunker of cotton bird.
Fucking a bird?
No, I'm going to have it gaffen on.
Mr. Gilligan, do you know what he's on about?
No, but I don't believe he said he was fucking a bird, Mr. Lockbox. That would be rather uncouth.
We have people like Brooks and Franks in this place.
Yes,
I
but
wouldn't
this
be
is
surprised.
yes, but Mr. Lockbox. Brooks and Franks are one thing. Mr. Rowan is another.
He is. He is one of the better ones.
Yes.
Saying that in front of the man's face.
Yeah, he's just standing there, like looking back and forward to you as you're talking to each other.
So, Mr.
About
Rowan,
McGarvin.
Mr. Rowan, what? Yes. What is the countryside like from where you're from?
Yours nor Baragandaga isn't her son.
There's not much sun, huh?
Ah. Brah.
Grass? Lots of grass?
Ah. You've been there, got a potato.
I think he
believe
said
he's a
something about a
Highlander.
potato.
Yeah.
I like Voden's just sitting there. He's not able to really parse what he's saying, but
I don't think anyone's really able to pass what this fucking weirdo's saying. You've
We're-
got a few bits and pieces of what he said, at least.
I was gonna say we're picking out bits and pieces.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Do you know how to write?
There's a school, and it's just in one burn.
I think he said no.
Yeah.
No, he said something about school.
School.
I thought he said neither of them.
Oh, we're near Galan, Tom. But it's
I think he's telling me to fuck off.
I heard
Well, you
that
did
too.
accuse him of having sexual relations with a bird. I would expect that.
I never had some chickens.
You did some chickens. What?
I don't.
Are you sure I was wrong, Mr. Gilligan?
I am still sure you are wrong, Mr. Lockbox.
It sounded like he said he only did some chickens.
Maybe he raised chickens.
It's very
That
possible.
make
It's
them.
some fungander. Ja, niet earned for the friends.
Right. Well, gentlemen, have a good night. Always a
McGurgan.
pleasure talking to you, Mr. Rowan.
Aye, McGurgan.
I'll walk away.
And gun lurkbeard.
Yeah.
And done. And he nods and walks off.
Yeah.
I turned to Bowden. I think he said goodnight to us.
I can give you this one. He said Mr. Gilligan, Mr. Lockbox, and then Bowden, and then walked off. So if you didn't catch it, McGurgan is Mr. Gilligan.
Yeah, I got that much.
Malugburg.
I understood that.
Yeah, Malugburg is Mr. Lockbox, and then Burden is Bowden.
I'm surprised I'm still a mister after saying he sleeps with birds.
Honestly, he wasn't listening that closely, and it's not the worst thing that's been said about him.
The
Well,
question is it true?
We'll never know.
they'll never know.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think you guys understand how much I'm gonna re-listen to this fucking episode.
I'm so tempted to take this a step further and say, as he turns and walks off, there's like a little bit of whistling, and then you hear like drifting off as he's swallowed by the darkness. Oh, there once was a girl with auburn hair, which flowed down her shoulders everywhere, and just like drifts off into the.
There's actually a guard at my work who we're pretty sure acts normal outside of work, but he's weird.
Yeah.
He's weird during work.
When that happens, I just turn to Bowden with a look of, what the fuck?
He's got a beautiful
Yeah.
singing voice.
He likes girls with auburn hair.
Dane, where did you come from?
Bowden, I
What?
didn't want any mushrooms.
What?
I
What are
don't
you
want to
on
be
about?
prancing around the fire like you and that seer there. I'm all for you doing whatever you want, but don't drug me.
I can assure you that I haven't. I'm fairly certain, anyway. So unless you're going into my stash, you should be fine.
I just love the idea that he, like, no one can understand him for shit, but he has a beautiful singing voice of an angel.
Yeah.
Speaking of mushrooms again, I will be going out into the forest once again.
Okay.
Have a good day, Mr. Lockbox.
The middle of the night.
That's where I do my best thinking.
Where are you intending to head?
His ass is about to get
I'm
eaten
going
by
to look without
alligators.
looking. It's basically.
He's closing his eyes and wandering.
Okay.
That's what I get from that.
I'm letting fate decide my steps.
All right.
He runs back into the friendly tree and wakes up half a day later.
Oh god.
You find your way after a few hours, to an area, near the lake, near the waterfall. You can tell because you can hear the water falling. And find your way to the edge of the swamp. Around here, there are mushrooms. Who knows what the fuck they do? But there are some mushrooms around here and dotted around the swamp area, along with some slightly thicker, larger, and taller trees, lots of overhead foliage. So it makes the dark place even darker because it also shields you from the moonlight a little whiles as well. I can't say that you come upon a tree that particularly astounds you. However, I will say that these are the most promising looking trees so far. If you have a look for a while around here, you may be able to find one that has, a little bit older, grown a little bit more, and kind of taken a dominant position in the swamp. It's just going to take a bit of time searching, maybe. Or you can, keep looking other parts of the island.
I do my best searching in the swamp at night.
That's not true. I don't even need to roll for that. That's just not true. You find some mushrooms. You're not gonna find a beautiful tree at like 3 minutes past 2 a.m. while you're probably eating mushrooms and stumbling around in a swamp at night.
I don't think any amount of tens are going to help here.
alligator or a crocodile.
I'll come back in the morning.
Yeah.
You hear
Right.
faint banjo music.
I will take some mushrooms with me. I don't eat them. I don't eat the mushrooms off the ground. I don't know what they can do.
Yeah. Oh, character growth.
Now the question is he going to bring them to the seer or to Lockbox?
No, I bring them to Brooks.
That is probably the smart move.
Go over to Brooks. Brooks. I just knock on whatever you got.
Aren't you in a tent
2
still?
a.m.
No, you have a house now.
Yeah,
no.
he had a house for a while, but he was living out of a tent.
He was in the tent the longest, aside from like Mumbles, basically.
But
Yeah.
it was a nice tent. I don't know what to tell you. All my stuff was in there. It takes time
Yeah.
to move this.
Do carry on. I'm just grabbing you a drink quick.
Oh,
Brooks.
what's up? Hey, bud, what's up?
Hey, I found some mushrooms out while I was looking. Want to give them a gander?
Okay, let's have a look. I'm not seeing any deadly spots here. Stalks look relatively long. Have you tried tasting them yet?
No.
You got a relatively good constitution. Just try licking one and see what kind of taste you get from it.
God damn
All
it.
right.
So long as okay, it didn't taste acidic at all. Didn't taste like chalk.
Can't
Anything?
feel my mouth.
Good to know. Could be a good anesthetic. So yeah, if you were to grind it down and apply it to a part of your body, you probably wouldn't feel someone hitting you. I don't think you have that problem anyway, but yeah, good to know.
Why do I get the feeling he's going to turn these mushrooms into war paint?
Oh no.
How did you read my mind?
It absorbs through the skin.
Well, the quick experiment indicated that they're not going. That just by licking them, it's enough to turn everything numb. So
Crush one between the fingers, kind of smush it around, see if it does anything to the fingers.
let me know if you feel anything or feel nothing.
If you feel anything or you feel nothing.
Sometimes, late at night, I feel very small.
Then I look around me and realize other people are smaller.
But you're not getting any kind of tingling sensations, and it's not like your hand's gone completely numb. Good.
No.
Okay. So, consuming it's probably a good thing to knock you out. Unless you kind of, consume it with a bunch of other stuff to make it not as aggressive. I mean, if you really want a good laugh, you should try sneaking some into, some of the stew and see what happens.
You're trying to get me to poison people.
It won't kill them.
Probably.
There's a
Might
90%
kill my
chance it's
sous
not going
chefs.
to kill them.
It might get one of my sous chefs killed.
I tell you what, let's do this the traditional way. I'm just going to take a small amount of the mushroom, throw it into some boiling water, see what happens. That should be about enough. And I'm going to then take a small sip of the now mushroom infused water. Do I need to roll Constitution?
Just straight up luck.
No, honestly, like the mushrooms here on this island are pretty much benign at worst.
In that case, after detecting that it's not going to do anything, you should be
It's not-
fine to eat them.
It's not very tasty, I'll say that. But
Good for
listen-
emergency food stores.
But if you feel like eating them, it won't kill you.
This is good. By the way, Brooks.
Yep.
When are you gonna cash in on that favor I owe you?
I'm not sure yet. No one's been a significant enough problem for me to need to.
Mm-hmm. Just leans back on whatever log or whatever he's using as a bench. I can think of one person. But he's not.
No,
He's a
do tell.
benign problem.
Actually, now I need to hear it. Go on.
God dang it. What's that guy's name? The
Gelton.
drunk.
oh,
Oh,
Tristan.
Tristan.
Tristan or Tristan?
Tristan, yeah.
Justine.
It's Tristan. I was out walking around and I saw he kept an entire barrel of rum to himself.
Bro,
That doesn't sound so much like a problem for me. That sounds like a problem for everyone.
And I
Ow.
will have to go ahead and do.
Are you trying to convince me? Oh. So what would this be to combat this? Wit's notice?
Well, before we do, are both of you happy with the confrontation of wills and happy to roll against each other for it?
I'm down.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Probably in that case, I would say resolve and intimidate would make the most sense here.
Can I argue wits? Just trying to pick up on how honest he's being. Because it's not so much
Are
a
you
physical
lying?
fight.
I am using the fact that he's a known drunk. But
Are you
I don't
lying?
think. I don't know. Would Tristan have stolen a barrel of rum?
Absolutely. Well, appropriate.
It's 2,000 pounds.
You can roll
1
it.
ton. One of those barrels, we have 5 barrels that are a ton each, is about 2,000 pounds.
It's also probably in the basement, so it's a bit colder.
He would have to help. He would have definitely appropriated a more than his fair tot of rum.
Okay. I will change the lie, or well, it's not really a lie anymore. I will change it since I did not realize how big of a barrel was. And he took some extra pony kegs. Would that be?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him with some extra pony cakes.
And then we were going intimidate and resolve, weren't we? Let's have a laugh.
Yes. I would say the only reason you'd use wits is if he was lying, or if, like, essentially you've got two ways, is like being tricked or being convinced. Being convinced is more force of wills. Wits would be more tricking.
Oh.
etc.
Should I have rolled with resolve instead of panache then?
I'd say panache or resolve would have worked.
If you do panache, you can take a +1 because I don't think you use panache a lot.
I don't use panache, but my resolve is incredible.
Okay.
Here, I'll reroll then.
Okay, so that's the attempt to convince me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, do I then just do resolve? Well,
Let me just have a quick look here. For you, I would say probably Streetwise Criminal will give you 2 bonus dice. I'll just see if you Bowden also get bonus.
I don't think I have anything that would really give a bonus, except maybe stare down, but I'm not really trying to intimidate.
Yeah, it's more convinced than intimidate.
I might. The only thing I can think of how I could use stare down is if Brooks looks over and I look like I want to kill this man.
You know what? I would say that stare down would count, even though it is more intimidate in this instance, because Brooks will be essentially resisting your convince. I think the stare down would have an aspect to that, so feel free to roll 1 more dice, but Brooks, you get 2.
Okay, it's a total of 36.
Oh wait, I think it may be 3.
I'll hold fire before I press the button. But that was intimidate, resolve.
It
no
was
penalty.
streetwise. It was criminal. It was criminal. Yeah, 2. Streetwise criminal. There you go.
Streetwise criminal. That could be a challenge to beat that.
Oh, barely.
Just. It's like 1 in it.
Yeah.
I win by 3, and that's about it.
Win by 3. Okay. I would say that it is enough to. It's enough that you, Brooks, would be. Call it sympathetic, although, obviously Brooks probably doesn't feel any sympathy ever, or empathy, or anything like that. But it would cause you to be a little convinced, a little more sympathetic to Bowden's point of view. Whether you actually action that is entirely down to the RP and both of you. It's too close to impose an action, more just a slight adjustment of outlook.
In this case, Bowden's outlook on Tristane is disfavorable, and
if I can,
I wouldn't go so far as to say I want him removed. I would go as far to say if I could beat him up in a fist fight, I definitely would.
If I can give a little perspective that should help, Brooks, you're not the type of professional, like, you get drunk, right? Like, you get fucked up, but never on the job.
Yeah, because, that's how mistakes happen.
Yeah.
That causes more problems.
So, I would suggest that the way that would make the most sense for your character to adjust to this is just a little lowering of opinion of Tristane. Like, he's still amusing, etc. But it's like, I'd prefer not to serve under him or with him if it can be avoided, just purely because it's like he's the type of person to drink on the job or to, like, yeah.
No.
That makes sense.
So not enough for me to call in the favor to have him beaten to a bloody pulp. Okay.
No, I mean, it's really down to you.
So no, that's what someone was going for, but
If you want to go that way, I think there's enough there that you could if it's something you're interested in. However, I'd say from
Yeah,
a pure Brooks perspective, I don't see much reason for him to want that.
I mean, honestly, it's the question of why. What does it really get me?
Yeah.
It's why trying to appeal to Brooks only works with money.
I'd say, at least from my impression of Brooks, he doesn't seem to be a for no reason criminal or like, you know, thug. Like he'd like break a granny's walking stick and steal her money if he needed the money, but he's not going to do it just because, you know, just because.
At the very least, he'd like to think that everything he does has a reason.
Yeah.
So.
Reason may be boredom, but it's there.
I mean, sometimes boredom does, technically become the reason. He will pretend as if something else was.
Yeah. That granny looked at me funny and she called me a dick.
Well, were you being a dick, Mr. Bowden?
That's besides the point.
Mr. Bowden? Oh, damn. Bowden's out here stabbing grannies now.
Yeah.
Bisecting grannies.
Mr. Brooks, forgive me. 2B names.
I was just picturing Bowden, just a smash cut of Bowden menacing over an old lady.
So,
Can you help me, dearie?
I think after talking with Brooks for a bit, Bowden will get up and start heading out. Well, Brooks, as long as the favor has something to do with what I'm good at, I think we'll have a lovely business relationship, as Mr. Gilligan would put it.
And I'm wondering, what should I think about if like Bowden comes up to me today? I helped an old lady cross over. Like, what kind of crossing over are you talking about?
I can also help you cross over.
Time, sweet.
I
So,
helped an old lady get to the other side.
Yeah, we're raiding ships. We have to go across the railings.
So when I need somebody to help me get someone to cross over, I know who to ask.
Speaking of favors, did he ever call on Lockbox for a favor, or was it just give him more food?
I believe it was just give me more food.
Okay.
All right.
So
Slowly spreading the seeds of doubt. Interesting, anyway.
So, are there any for the time while everyone's back here and etc. Are there any like little bits of conversation or things needed to be organized? Anything along those lines, really.
I would like to approach Gilligan at some point.
Okay.
Okay.
If anyone else has something to do, they can go first if they want, or yeah.
Yeah. Morning at breakfast.
Yeah. After I finish feeding everyone, or after you get your bowl, I yell at my sous chefs, take care of the rest of them. I need to speak up, Mr. Gilligan. With Mr. Gilligan.
Yeah, Mr. Gilligan comes in pretty early. He wakes up pretty early, so it would probably be one of the first people up. You'd probably have time to talk to him before the whole crowd rushes in.
Yeah, I'd leave my sous chefs to take care of the early worms. The
Yeah.
ones that are up. They better be
Oh.
all up, else they're getting an ass kicking.
Oh, Mr. Lockbox. Always a pleasure.
I think we both know that you don't really mean that, given my manner of speaking. Though you hide it well.
You wound me, sir. If I had a problem with you, I would tell you.
Fair enough. Can't judge a book by its cover, no matter how posh it sounds.
What can I help you with today?
I spoke with Don Fernando, given that he's easier to talk to than the rest of the captains. least for
Mhm.
me. I was thinking we might want to start looking in to bring in people who know how to work stone so we can reinforce the buildings in case of a big storm or anything like that. Given that you got the fancy words with merchants and all that, I figured you might be able to point us in the right direction if we want to go that route.
I do have a few contacts here and there. That would be pricey though. Sheepy, with the 400 guilders we have, because this would be part of what that um account is to be used for, would
Yeah.
we be able to actually pay for this with our current funds? That means supplies and hiring people.
Are we reinforcing every building that we currently have?
I doubt it. I would think
I
we
would assume
reinforce.
we'd start with the more important ones first.
Yeah, we reinforce the communal areas first, and then people who want to reinforce their private domiciles have to pay for that themselves.
Yeah.
Mm,
Like, for instance, me, I'd care more about getting the mess hall reinforced and maybe the kitchen than my house.
I would also, now that we're getting larger amounts of money, like to build a dedicated
s-
treasury.
yeah, sturdy treasury. Anyway, I thought I'd bring it up with you because you're not as high ranking, I guess you could say. You're technically under Mr. Farland,
I don't
and
think any of us are technically under anybody anymore,
you know
but I
what I
get your
meant.
meaning.
I I figured between your contacts and you not being long-standing high position, it might be easier to discuss this with you.
Well, I can't make any promises, but I'll run the numbers. I see the need in this request.
Well, he stands up, cracking his back.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you like the leftovers from last night's stew, and I'm gonna get back to serving.
It tastes wonderful, as always, Mr. Lockbox.
Good, means no one poisoned it in the night.
Was that a concern?
No.
I would like to roll scrutiny to see if that was the truth.
It may have got some extra mushrooms. Who knows?
Dang it! I wanted to make the joke, but I wasn't sure if I could.
Are you actually gonna roll scrutiny?
I don't know, Sheepy, what would that roll be?
to
Notice?
probably wits. It depends. If
I'll just go with
if it's more passive, it would probably be wits empathy. It would be something you notice just by natural.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
If it's something you're looking out for, or you're skeptical of someone, it would probably be wits notice.
Wits empathy.
should I just roll a convince panache just to make it more interesting?
Yeah, sure. As long as you're both good with verses.
Yeah.
Sure, I
You did
mean, are
21?
you lying, though? I don't see you needing to roll that if you're not lying.
It's always fun to roll.
But are you lying, though?
You don't know. That's the problem. If he
Well,
doesn't roll, then you know.
Are you lying though?
No, he's not lying. He was not concerned at all. Lockbox is just that type of person to have a morbid curiosity, morbid humor like that.
It's more like he wasn't sure if the mushrooms are actually good.
Yeah.
Well, you beat him by 19, so you know.
You definitely know he was not concerned.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
I think the only poisoning going around is Bowden to himself.
Yeah,
He
and
count
Yes.
hallucinogenics like that.
let me be clear. He didn't think you poisoned the stew. He knows he has some concerns about some of the crew, and he's trying to figure out if you're concerned about the same people.
Oh, I'm concerned about the same people. I just don't think they're gonna fuck with me.
Yeah.
I mean, no one, and I mean no one, fucks with the person making their food.
Unless they're just actually psychotic.
Okay.
But yeah, I would need a conversation with Don Fernando later in the day.
Sure.
Don
I
Fernando's
plan to go
player
to-
will have to go actually to bed to get up in some human time tomorrow. But yeah, I'm around.
Well, I was gonna say we are on the close, which is why I asked if anyone wanted to have a quick convo with each other. So,
I
yeah,
did my conversation with Brooks last night, so
yeah. If you want
I
if you want to have the quick conversation with
Yeah, I'm not sure how quick it will be, so I can
Okay.
hold off until next month.
in that case, what we'll do is we will I was considering talking about the island and upcoming projects and what you want to do next for expeditions and stuff. I think we can probably save that for next session.
Yeah, that's kind of what was.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask him about any information he learned on his trip and share what I learned.
Yeah, this is exactly a topic
yeah,
for the Pirate Council.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so make notes of the things, the info, etc., so you can bring it up next session.
Yeah, it's for the Pirate Council, but I want to talk to you before the council and get a
Yes.
I
feeling from
see.
what
Well,
you want to do.
what we'll probably do is we'll probably have a few conversations starting off, and then probably go into the pirate council. Everyone can gather around, and everyone will have a bit of a discussion on what you want to do next, if there's any opportunities to be had, maybe a bit of piracy, etc., and run it from there.
yeah. Pirate
Before
Council was. Oh, go ahead.
before we fully close off, I want to throw out a check-in to see everyone's happy, with the campaign going forward. Like, still interested in seeing where things go and doing the pirates campaign. So that's the first bit.
Yeah, for me this is fine.
Okay.
I thought originally that this is getting like kinda too rare. Like once a month is not that much.
Yeah.
I tend to forget between, but no, this works just fine now.
Yeah.
I also I'm starting to get swamped at work, so this is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like my city building game.
Yeah. Me too.
It's a rather chill game
Mhm.
that I'm trying to slowly throw drama into.
I'm trying to throw in some more like opportunities for RP and stuff, but sometimes it's just like, well, you're driving off over here, and the scale is quite large, so quite often the more smaller like RP stuff it comes a bit less regular, I guess.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I do not know how to RP being a drug addict.
Hey, I mean, you'll get
I'm
there.
sorry. I'll get
I'm
there.
just.
What's that mean?
What's that mean, Sheepy?
Well, you have
Bearded. If
you
you
the
one day wake up
crazy.
to. Oh, sorry.
You have the crazy seer now, Claude.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
he'll teach you.
Bearded, if you one day wake up to a package from Britain on your front door from Sheepy, don't open it.
I'm just gonna expect some iron brew or something.
But yeah, I'm also slowly in the background making my plans to seduce Gilligan's cousin
Of course.
that I've never met and don't know the existence of.
Yeah, man. Do you?
I was gonna say in the next Pirate Council, I was going to try to
Vote
push
off
forward the
Tristane.
idea. No, I was gonna try to push forward the idea of raiding a target because I have these raiders. We want to raid. Whether the raid be on a ship, be on a coastline, who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
The Tristane thing will happen slowly
Yeah.
over time, unless I completely convince someone that they're horrible.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is I'd be willing / down to do like a little kind of
Side RP.
small shorter side RP type thing where we do like say a 1-2 shot type thing, a bit shorter, maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours or so, in a separate setting or something, you know, just so you guys can have a bit more of a more small focused setting to do like a bit more action RP etc in if you want. So I was going to ask, like, if we did think about that or organize something like that, does anyone have preferences for setting?
Trench Crusade.
Funnily enough, I did notice the post in the voice chat, and it also came up in my YouTube recommended a couple days ago. So I did look into it. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
We
What
do
Crusade?
a Warhammer 40k Total War thing. I have a couple ideas.
I know it sounded almost for a moment there like we were going to get dragged into a trench warfare.
Well,
And
No, that's all.
maybe that is like kind of lame, but I tend still to like kind of ordinary Call of Cthulhu 1920s setting, paranormal stuff.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
That would be something which would be that's something I could almost fold into a future planned game because I have an idea of something around that kind of idea.
You know, it'd be hilarious if we play one of these games that it actually affects one of your shows.
If
Yeah.
I knew that, I'd have to make terrible things.
It wouldn't be the first time. I have done that before. Yeah, I'd say, like, generally speaking, with 40k, I find it very hard to do short stuff.
That's why I said if. I don't.
Yeah.
I do not expect it.
And with Trench thingy,
Trench Crusade.
Trench Crusade, I don't know anything about it. It would probably require me to, like, you know, look into the setting and etc. Probably enough to create an interesting enough scenario or short
Yeah.
shot.
And I said it more as a joke than anything else.
Okay. Well,
Honestly, the setting is still, in my opinion, not that fleshed out. Like there is like what 20 pages of lore.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So my thoughts is I have had an idea for something that would be a little bit, it wouldn't be Cthulhu, just to let you guys know, but it would be kind of like probably 50s 60s investigative, maybe a bit of an X-Files vibe along with like a Cthulhu-y mystery, you know, what the fuck's going on kind of vibe. So if you're interested in that type of thing, I could start like storyboarding and brainstorming something along those lines.
I certainly do
A
not
murder
care about
mystery.
it being genuinely Cthulhu itself, just like the kind of cosmic
The
horror,
vibes.
freaky stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
A
And
murder
that's
mystery.
why
We're the murderers.
The other things I was kind of thinking is it could be fun, although it wouldn't be drifting, but we could do a traveler, like, because that's kind of I'd have to think of something short to do with Traveler, but we could do something along those lines.
So when you say it couldn't be drifting, you mean we wouldn't even be in the same universe as drifting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it would be fun for you guys to be, like the story of drifting, like the setting I really like, but when you know the setting, it's the point of the story is to slowly find out what the fuck is going on. Once you know what's going on, playing in the setting is like, well, it's just like a generic space thing. You may as well play in a different generic space thing, like.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
Is my thoughts.
But the idea is we would be crew members of something.
Yeah, do some type of space crew type thing. One of the fun things about Traveler is the character creation. So we could have fun with the character creation and then do a couple of sessions after creating the characters type thing.
Ooh. Could we do something like that, but with Subnautica setting?
Traveler, but under the ocean.
Yeah.
Possibly. Make a note of that and throw it in the Patreon chat somewhere. And I'll add that to my.
I will say though, any campaign that's gonna be like that, it's not gonna be Subnautica. It's gonna be freaking Barotrauma.
Yeah.
Because I know.
Why would you bring that cursed game into this?
I'm not gonna lie. When you said Subnautica, my brain thought Barotrauma, so that's what I was planning for. Okay.
No.
Subnautica, yeah.
We all thought Barotrauma. I was trying to get Subnautica though.
All I
There's
know
no-
is if we go Subnautica, I'm going to punch a Reaper Leviathan in the eye and then die.
There you go.
I
put it in Patreon chatter.
I'd say the other possibilities, something that could be done quicker, shorter, etc., would be things along the lines of like Overgrown or Mage, maybe, for like Mage is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The QT universe. Like, obviously
Yes.
not in that city, but
That I'd say with the QT, I'd be down to do that. Like do it in the same universe. We'd probably have to. Oh, who's
I think that was Bearded.
Okay.
What happened?
It was just some weird
Feedback.
Like, feedback.
Oh, someone opened my door, and I tried to quickly mute.
Oh, no problem. What I'd say is, we could do the QT definitely. I'd probably rehash a lot of the abilities. It may have to be non-canon, even though it's not related, just purely because, like, but yeah, we could maybe set it to, like, I don't know, somewhere like Washington or something, like on the other side of America, so it's got nothing to do with what's going on. That could be fun.
You say it has nothing to do with what's going on. Somehow we set off a nuke.
Yeah.
You want to nuke the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I'd say
one of our myths is a freaking old Soviet soldier ghost at that point.
What I'd say is QT is doable, but it would be it would most likely be a full shift away from pirates, because I don't see a way of doing QT, even though we'll probably be a bit quicker, it probably won't be as slow burn. Like, I can't foresee myself doing something QT themed and setting without it taking a more amount of time, So we'd have to put a pin in pirates, either come back to it or leave it as is, and do the QT for a fair few sessions, like 6-7+ sessions,
Um,
Well, then I definitely shouldn't suggest VTM.
Oh, God.
God, yeah. Like, I'm willing to do VTM. I don't have. I only have one piece of inspiration for VTM currently, and that's a show that I will probably do, but I'm not sure when. So I can't really do that because it would just be me doing the show, but instead, like, just throwing it at you guys instead.
If I want to be completely honest, I do like the idea of being on a Subnautica style ship the
Yeah.
most out of all the suggestions, because
I personally am
can-
leaning toward. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You should finish your thought, and then
No,
I
no,
can.
no, my good man, you go ahead.
someone
Look,
has
we're
to go
not
ahead.
British. Fucking go ahead.
Fine. Fuck you. No, you do it.
Fine. I'm leaning towards the Call of Cthulhu purely because I have ideas for a crazy person who is going to trap his entire house with things that would not affect any monster.
Well, so the Call of Cthulhu would see you being part of an X-Files style team sent in to investigate weird happenings in a town.
So it'd
Think-
be closer to like Delta Green.
I'd say closer to like Silent Hill, not necessarily with the monsters, but with the like, we get to this place and it's weird, and the people here are weird, and we're not sure why. What the fuck is going on? And then it'd be.
It's all actually normal. We're just crazy.
Yeah.
Do we work for the? Okay. Maybe I'm too hung up on the X-Files types.
You would be working for a startup government agency that is skeleton crew,
Underfunded.
underfunded, no one believes in it, you know, like, yeah.
I could still play a crazy guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Booby trap the apartment. Walk in, get a freaking catapult of salt to the face.
I'd say it'd probably be 3 to 4 sessions. That would, so. Like, as I said, I'm very happy to run a quick change of pace, bit of a palate cleanse, or, you know, just hit something else for a little bit and come back to Pirates. I'm also very happy to put a pin in Pirates for, you know, possibly forever, or etc. Go off, you know, because obviously I'm very happy continuing Pirates. Don't anyone think that this is me being like, hey, Pirates is boring, let's stop Pirates. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm also aware that the sessions are only once a month, so it could be more interesting for you guys to have a bit of variety and jump around a few different systems and settings and mess around with roleplay. So it's not something you have to decide immediately. You know, we can, you know, touch on it next month with the next session, or in between you can give me your feedback. Let me know your preferences, and we can kind of figure it out, decide as we go. But yeah, I want to make it clear that as well, that I don't mind if you guys are wanting a bit of a change of scenery, or, you know, just you want to have slightly shorter campaigns where we jump through a few different settings and just have, you know, shorter fun with some roleplay and settings and stuff. I'm also very happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I see the appeal of that. Do like 2 sessions of something, jump back to Pirates for a session or 2. Do something else, back to Pirates.
Yep.
Like, I see the appeal of that. I don't know about everyone else. I mean, I'm having fun with Pirates, but
Yeah. Alright, well, keep that in mind for now, guys. And I'll see about fleshing out in my spare time, like, a few little ideas and settings and scenarios for a few of the things already, you know, discussed. And
Yes.
yeah, the option can then be there if we're just like, you know what, next month, fuck it, we don't want to pirate, we want to see if the truth is out there or something, you know. Alrighty. These are all the people. And this was Flotsam. I think this is Flotsam session 8. So we're
Yes.
doing pretty well. If you like
And
it,
no one important died.
Yet.
yet.
That we know of.
If
Just
you,
a couple of French people. Oh,
I-
sorry.
if you like it, this is the Patreon game. All of these wonderful people here are supporting the channel with their Patreon pledges, and yeah, we'll be back. Well, yeah, I don't need to do that type of outro. Just we'll do
We'll be
more
back
sessions.
next week.
Don't
Give
promise
Sheepy
things.
money.
All right, there we go.
Yes, please give Sheepdog money.